line by Djakovic. James Hunt, you are a genius!
After a bleak start, the Crows' path to September is getting clearer.
I mean, at this stage of the year, I mean, all we know is that we're in the 8th, and so we've got a chance to hopefully finish in the finals. You know, we've sort of given ourselves a reasonable chance to do that.
Did that well, bread and butter.
With a new game plan paying off big time.
The ball movement speed will stay. We've got a playing group now that I think are capable of being able to handle it.
For pleasure, spins out of trouble, and that's the kind of gem he can produce.
It was an all too familiar feeling for Sydney against the Pies.
Well, the class of Collingwood was just better than the workmanlike performance of the Swans.
Now it's time to get out of their rut. Stick around, we're good to go. It's the Crows and Swans on Saturday afternoon football.
It's party time.
Yes, welcome to Amy Stadium. If you're joining us for the first time, 7th versus the 11th on the AFL ladder. Barry Hall's 250th game, and the Sydney Swans about to break through the banner here in bright sunshine.
They certainly have, and also Mickey Lachlan just announcing his retirement during the week. He's certainly going to be a player that, you know, he's given great service, and this is where he started his football as a junior, and great to see a great champion bowing out towards the end of the year.
Adelaide Crows, of course, coming in with 4 wins in a row. They're going to be very, very tough to beat at home here. Full house, crowd-wise expected, and the Adelaide Crows at the moment are in the kind of form that could see them be a real threat in September.
Well, I think they are too. I think they're playing probably their best football, for offensive football, for nearly 2 years. They're nearly the second or third best highest scoring side in the last 4 weeks, and Neil Craig's worked on that for about 18 months, and it's really working for him.
Listen to that roar.
Oh.
A full house again here as we have a look at the Adelaide Crows lineup.
Well, for the Adelaide Crows, I really think that they've got a couple of things they have to try and do, and that is trying to manufacture a loose man in defence. Collingwood did it against the Sydney Swans last week, and they did it brilliantly. Nick Maxwell was one of the players, or Heath Shaw. Well, I don't know, with Bock down there and Rutten, maybe one of those two players will play forward or back off, and they just look so settled at the moment. They've got a fantastic spine. Moran in the ruck, I think, is very important with Marriage, that they can stop Darren Jolly getting their first hands on the ball for the Sydney Swans. And their forward line now, I think this is probably the best forward setup they've had for nearly 2 or 3 years under Neil Craig. You've got Knights, who's kicking goals. Paul Pleaser's an out-and-out superstar, can mark above his head and do it at ground level. Stevens always gives a contest, and you've got Edwards, Mackay, a number of players, Dangerfield, who can push through that area.
Yeah, and with Sydney Swans, so look, they need to find other avenues to goal. They just can't rely on Hall and O'Loughlin bombing that ball in. You mentioned about Rutten and Bock down there, but through the middle of the ground, look, Kirk, 14 clearances last week. He needs good support. Who's going to go with Goods? They've got to get him on the offensive. And Ryan O'Keefe, 41 possessions last week. He needs another big performance. You've got Jolly in the ruck. I would put him down in the forward line and just, pigeonhole him in the forward line and bring Hall out, because he can take a mark. He's in good form. He had 53 hit-outs last week, so that's an option there.
Well, Ryan O'Keefe is such a very good player. Last week, he had 41 possessions, pushing up the ground. I don't think he kicked the goal, so they need him to kick a few more goals, because, as you said, they haven't got enough forwards to do it. But, geez, a very hard matchup. And I just talked about Jason Paul-Pleasure, Jacko. He is just an out-and-out star, I believe.
He certainly is. I mean, his last couple of weeks, and I mean, when the side's all playing well, players get in a consistent pattern of good form. Look, I think he's over his injuries. He had that shoulder, chronic shoulder last year, which prematurely ended his season. But his ability to take a contested mark, just that option up forward with, as you mentioned before, Shorey, they've got such a balanced to settle side. You've got Kurt Tippett up there for pleasure. They just work the ball really, really well. Look how smart he is getting front and square here, working to Tippett. I mean, they've just got so many avenues in their forward line, and he's certainly a player that's getting better.
Well, Michael O'Loughlin, has announced that he will retire at the end of the year. Had a shocker last week, but I think, when he knows that, and he announced that his body doesn't feel the same at times. All they ask from Michael O'Loughlin is to compete. He'll get his hopefully 2 or 3 a game, and that's what they missed last week with that. Just a realisation of what he can do. You'll spend a fair bit of time on the bench, but you've still got to man him up with a very good defender, because he can just cut you loose in about 5 or 6 minutes.
Certainly can, and he brings other players in the competition, into the game as well. Barry Hall, well, we know what he brings to the side. I mean, he's very important that he has a disciplined game and he competes throughout the remainder of the game.
And let's hope he can have a big one in his 250th Barry Hall.
Another milestone for Barry Hall, straight through the middle.
That's a frightening sight for any West Coast defender.
Tries to tackle Barry Hall on the lead.
Hall working hard. He's on the end of this kick. It was a beauty. Hall sees the goals, and after all these years, his kick is not misplaced.
Barry Hall who has two to beat, but Big Barry's up high to take them up.
Barry Hall, half a dozen.
The captain, number 1, Barry Hall.
What a roar around the MCG.
7:30 Sunday. Love is in the air.
Romance is the theme.
Which of our final four is most in touch with their romantic side?
Probably suits me better than it suits someone like, say, Chris.
To win this challenge, they'll need to be seductive,
Oysters.
Passionate.
tender,
You should be thinking about adding that little bit of love to the dish.
MasterChef, 7:30 Sunday on 10. Mars your day.
Get a classic quarter, Tropicana or classic roast combo at Red Rooster right now. And you'll also get a serve of piping hot apple bites. Dinner's done and dessert's on us. But you gotta be quick and it's gotta be red.
AFL Team 2009 game cards, $2.95 a pack. Available at AFL stores and newsagents.
Enjoy the fast-moving action of AFL in high definition with the latest technology from Panasonic. Let the experts at Harvey Norman demonstrate the outstanding picture quality of Panasonic full high-definition Viera Plasma and home theatre system. Complete your experience with the new Panasonic Blu-ray disc recorder, which allows you to record high-definition content to disc. Grab a deal from Harvey Norman for the ultimate in high-definition entertainment. Panasonic welcomes you to tonight's AFL game, broadcast in high definition. Like all fast-moving action, you'll see it at its very best on a high-definition Panasonic Viera Plasma.
Welcome back to AAMI Stadium. I know we've talked about the crowd a little bit, but it is phenomenal, this crowd here at AAMI Stadium. It's no wonder they're building a bigger venue. Barely a spare seat in the house for this one, 7th versus 11th on the AFL ladder as we head downstairs to Rowan Smith.
Well, thanks very much, Dwayne. Well, you just mentioned the crowd. They must just leave their barbecues right at the last moment because there was a few spare seats before, but now a jam-packed house today and a picture-perfect Saturday afternoon here at AAMI Stadium with the bright sunshine. Not a breath of wind, well, not a breath of wind. There's a little bit of breeze going down the right end of the screen, but would be no advantage at all. The Sydney Swans coach, Paul Roos, last week said that something that they lacked last week was a little bit of excitement. Now, Patrick Vespremi comes into the side today just to add that little bit of excitement. I saw him last year play a game of the SCG where he kicked a few goals from the boundary line, so that's where a little bit of excitement will come today, boys. But I'm really looking forward to this game because Adelaide Crows have been in terrific form and the Sydney Swans really need this win today to get their season back on track. So have a great call, boys.
Thanks for that, Rowan. Two captains today. Tyson Edwards, of course, game 302, and Brett Kirk. Captain Kirk wins the toss. Swans left of screen.
I was just going to say, and I agree with Smithy, that I think the Adelaide Crows really want this game because every time Sydney Swans play, last week they were competitive too. They got beaten by Collingwood, and Collingwood have had a great record against them, Jacko, but in that first 5 minutes of the last quarter, they were dominant and just didn't take their chances, which could have put some pressure on. Collingwood didn't finish it off, but you know normally when they come to play, they're very competitive as a unit. probably lack the class of the Adelaide Crows, but I would think Adelaide would think, well, this is going to be a real physical test.
Well, you're right in saying that, probably lack the class, and I think with Adelaide's class and their confidence at the minute, you've got to play to your strengths, sure. You just got to take the game on. I mean, they're averaging 14 inside 50s more than any other period during the year in this last month, and that's because their ability, not pace, but their pace for ball movement. And Neil Craig was quoted during the week. It's one area they've been concentrating is the pace of the ball moving through the middle of the ground, and just giving, obviously, their settled forward line more options.
Umpires today, 3 of the best in the business. Must be a big one. They've sent us Hayden Kennedy, Scott McLaren and Matthew Nichols. Some experienced campaigners there, and as you would expect, given how crucial this is, it's on early between some. Lewis Roberts-Thompson, Kurt Tippett. Bathed in sunshine, Amy Stadium, and we're underway in this round 13 encounter. Jolly jumped into by Moran. Brett Kirk holding free kick, and it'll be Kirk's ball to start us off, coming off that 41 possession game last week. Hands off to Craig Bird, and a turnover instantly. Poor pleasure. Looks up. Knights made it tough for him. Bird, Edwards, and almost a free kick, mate. That is a free kick to Tyson Edwards.
Well, he's had 2 contests on the ball. Poor kick and a free kick. He'd certainly want to forget about.
Shirley. Van Berlo started half back. He's dragged down that ball. Goods dragged him down. You could tell that was a free kick to Sydney by how quiet the crowd was.
Great closing down speed there by the big fella.
Poor skills again. Brabazon had to go and collect that. Matner, the ex-Crow, back to Brabazon. Kick touched again, so some turnovers and some sloppy possessions early. Graham Johncock back into the team this week after missing last week with a virus. Hands off to McLeod. Little double bounce, and Johncock has been in pretty good form in the last month and a bit, despite that miss last week. To Bock, short. Van Berlo, and tries to dish it up, and Bock. See, that was a slick handball from McKay. Shirley dragged down, trying to scoop it out. O'Keefe, as you mentioned, guys, coming off a 41 possession game last week as well. Goods, Kirk, and they work it over the top to Nick Smith.
Here's the double team.
We'll make that a triple team for Barry Hall. Rutten up to Dan O'Loughlin. Hands off. Jack. Brabazon. Jolly to the open side. This is good movement. Matner, he knows where the big sticks are here. Hand memory holds up. They get the first.
Well, you mentioned the double.
Smart Start.
Get in. I know you're into me. You know you're into me.
Bluetooth and MP3 compatibility.
You know you're into me. I know you're into.
Vehicle stability and traction control. A lot goes into Corolla, the world's most popular small car.
98 games with the Adelaide Crows. Martin Matner, and has played every game since joining Sydney at the start of last year. Dropped a couple of years ago, late 2007, by Neil Craig, which was the final straw here. The opening straw for him today. And the ball up. And the clearances will be important. No free, poor pleasure. McLeod thought about going off the deck. It's a quick fire kick away inside 50 for Adelaide for the first time. Stevens, speaking of X's, the ex-Swan gives it up to Shirley. Outside of the foot, rolls it, but Lewis Roberts-Thompson cleverly taps it through for the opening score for Adelaide.
Just having a look, looks like Van Berlo's got the job on Adam Goods, which is going to be a big ask. Adam Goods, I think, will spend a fair bit of this game forward, knowing that he's going to have the height on Van Berlo.
Jude Bolton kicking into the pocket. Adelaide coming in with a 7-5 record. Sydney with a 5-7. Sydney coming off 3 losses in a row. Adelaide coming off 4 wins. So you can tell by that who the form team is. Matner and Jude Bolton. They almost conspire to mess it up again. Shaw wide, and good collect in the end from Smith. And now O'Keefe long. Good one-on-one contest. No free kick there, even though Jesse White thought he deserved one. There's The man that was in the news in the last couple of days, Nathan Bock, given a good behaviour bond for that altercation with his girlfriend. No conviction recorded, so a relief there that his life can resume and his football career can resume. Goods as play resumes from the ball in. Knights almost cut off. McLeod solid as ever at half-back. Always with poise and always delivers reasonably well. Tibbett couldn't mark it. Roberts-Thompson strengthened the core, stood up in the tackle. Bevan, Richards, Matner and Brabazon to the open side.
Well, early sign by Sydney. They're getting numbers back. 2 inside 50s for the Crows, and they've been under severe pressure.
And Jolly held up. As the guys mentioned in the intro, 53 hit-outs last week. A record. And has to be a contender for an All-Australian spot, if not the main spot. But a turnover here. And Van Berlo getting one back on Adam Goods. Scott Thompson, who's coming off 4 30-plus possession games in a row. They'll need to stop him to John Cock. High bomb. Stevens, Roberts-Thompson, Richards, they're all down there. Richards, Roberts-Thompson under pressure. O'Keefe. And once again to Jolly.
Well, early stage of this game, they've got it on their terms, Sydney, by just getting numbers back. They're winning the possession count as well, 36 to 19.
Jolly having a bit to do around the ground as well, not just with the hit-outs. Back to Roberts-Thompson, last line of defence. Dangerous kick, but okay to Jared Crouch. A Norwood boy back home, Jared Crouch, so knows this ground well, and in fact was coached by Adelaide Crows coach Neil Craig at the Norwood Football Club. And this is Pat Vez-Primi back into the team for his first game of the year. Jesse White.
Well done. Kept the ball alive.
Kept his feet.
Turnover kick-wise, though, although Barry Hall nearly crossed that pack. He had a couple worried there, Barry Hall. Moran, Rutten, Shirley. Crows get away with it. Shirley with some time to spend. Van Berlo, McKay, and he misses Knights. He would have been within range. Still within range. Stevens gives it to him. Oh, he pops the pass to Douglas. And Douglas... Well, the Adelaide Crows have a great milestone record. Does gentleman Richard Douglas's 50th game today qualify? Is it milestone? If it was Brian Taylor, he'd say no. But they have an outstanding milestone game record, the Adelaide Crows. And Richard Douglas back into the team this week. Missed the win against North Melbourne last week. Has a chance to kick the opening goal in his 50th game.
I think they should carry him off if he wins.
And starts at left, bends it back. And he can't open the scoring goal-wise for them. Another behind.
I know BT's listening.
I tell you what, both sides at the moment, their kick-to-handball ratio, the handballs are way up. Whether it's the pressure or they're trying to, both sides have got numbers behind the ball and they're trying to implement play to break the lines.
Crouch, Bevan, gee, they messed that up in the end again, the Swans. And they're holding the ball through there.
Well, they're testing each other out.
Yeah.
But what they need to do is think their way through it. Just rushing the kicks, and we've seen a lot of kicking errors at this early stage.
Thompson to Van Berlo. Wobbles it inside 50 towards full forward. Ted Richards should get there first. Little Shepherd, he parks the seas, runs through a couple. Back to Brabazon, who's been pretty good in game 2. Into the team again this week. Yet to play in a win, so he'd like to do that the first time in his career. Jesse White takes on the pack. Otten wrapped up and holding the ball.
That is very hard.
Not sure he had any prior opportunity.
I don't think he had any prior opportunity. But what's happened, they look up. Brabazon then grabbed the ball. He looks up and he hasn't got a lot to kick to. Outnumbered about 4-2 on that occasion, the Sydney Swans.
So O'Loughlin to Grundy. Back to O'Loughlin.
Now they're going to be patient with the build-up here. Just try and find gaps, push it forward slowly.
O'Loughlin takes them on.
Look how wide they go.
Chance for the Leapers to go up. Jesse White got a hand on it, but the fist beat him to it. Gets the crumb, caught, dispossessed. And John Cock with some speed. Rutten, almost too quick for that one. Had to hand back to Scott Thompson.
Good vision.
And the Crows like using the corridor. Alton gives it up. Edwards, not a lot to go to, knows it. And that's spectacularly good. Doughty to Otten. And now Knights feeding back. Crouch is with him. Knights, Crouch, the boundary line, his friend. Knew it. took it there, Rowan Smith.
Well, Crouch and Knights is one match up to look for, boys. Also, Scott Thompson in the middle of the ground, matched up on Ryan O'Keefe. Ryan O'Keefe just sitting behind the ball at the moment, allowing Scotty Thompson a little bit too much free rein in the midfield at the moment.
Stevens down, Shirley. Fend off, Jude Bolton, centering kick. Jack on the bounce. Goods. And this is the kick that's troubled them. They get it through this time. This is Barlow on the outer side. In fact, it's Brabbers on again. Shoots the handball wider. Richards. This is Barlow. Richards. Back to Barlow. And they've worked it nicely. Wobbler towards half forward though. John Cox scoops it up. The mop-up man. Trying to scoop a handball out to Rutten. Put him under pressure. And he's wrapped up by Kristen Thornton, who's already come on off the bench. Kristen Thornton started there with Crouch, who's already off the bench, and Barlow, who's already on the ground after starting on the bench. So high rotations early. Well, chip kick from Jack is good. And this is Ed Barlow, and number 6 for the year. So has been in and out a little the last couple of seasons. Played 7 games last year. A good chance here to extend Sydney's lead.
Well, it's their 4th inside 50, and they're just getting better return for their work going inside their forward 50 as opposed to Adelaide 6.
And this is the 19th man trying to boo Barlow. They've talked about this in the press here. Try and put players off. Success. Only a behind.
Just an issue there where that ball was centred to the ball. They had a ruck contest, and it was Adam Goods up against Van Berlo. So if they can isolate that and try and get that to occur, get the ruckman away like Jolly, and White just pull them away from the contest, that might suit the Sydney Swans.
Rutten gives it off. And box kick just misses McKay. The back of the pack. Around the body, pretty good from Nick Smith. Missed the target though, Bevan was intended for. Otten cuts it off. And now McLeod to Doughty on the open side. Takes on Thornton and wins with ease. Spears it inside 50. Perfection. Poor Pleasure thought about it.
It was an opportunity for them now. It was a clear passage of play. Lifted his vision and found Paul Pleasure back leading. So it's an opportunity for them to get some pressure on the scoreboard. 47% kicking efficiency this early stage. Very unlike Adelaide Crows.
Jacko, I think if you've got players behind the play, the one thing that cuts a zone open behind the play is very good pinpoint kicking. If you keep handballing, the zone just keeps moving back slowly.
That's right.
26 goals, 5 this season. Jason Poor Pleasure. Ultra accurate kick. And did you ever doubt him? Adelaide Crows in front. Gives you confidence going inside 50 to that man when you know he's going to finish it for you, as opposed to many forwards in the game who are 50-50 or even worse than that. From the ball up, Marich now to the middle, takes them on. Kirk, wrestle, battle of strength, and we'll get another ball up.
And Shorey at the moment, it's Ted Richards behind the ball for the Swans and Nathan Bock for Adelaide. So who would you like?
I think Nathan Bock, the way that he uses the ball, Teddy can be erratic at times.
Shirley with the fist there. O'Keefe, Matner, Jack, back to O'Keefe. Got Goods out wide, needs to be precise, he is. Goods has got a couple of options, Barlow one of them.
They have an option here to go through Kerrin Jack. He's playing on Andrew McLeod, who set up that last goal off the half back line. He just got a possession off the respective back line, so Sydney have got to go through him a bit more.
Oh, Van Berlo. Barlow was called to play on. Van Berlo clever. He didn't just smother the ball. He kept it in his area to Vince. Lewis Roberts-Thompson attacks it. Little fumble.
Too easy. Oh, did well.
And he does occasionally blot a perfect game or an outstanding game, Lewis Roberts-Thompson, with one blemish that tends to catch people's eye. Mattner.
Had to be a lot stronger there, Richard Douglas.
Okay, Barry Hall, can he get anywhere near this? You bet he can.
Gee. Have to look at the marking contest again. Was there a first initial and great smother here?
Yep.
I think it was Van Berlo, wasn't it?
Yep.
Just brilliant on the wing, but Marty Mattner just picked out that there was a couple of one-on-ones, and you can see them both there. Did he throw his... Nah, that's a good decision.
Great decision. Good contest.
If he had made contact with his face or his neck, yes, give a free kick, but not on that occasion.
In game 250, 88 of them with St Kilda. Barry Hall gives the Swans back the lead.
Well, come
NAB iSaver gives you a whole lot more than just a bonus rate, like unlimited withdrawals without sacrificing your bonus interest. Plus, you get instant access to your savings through a linked NAB Smart Everyday account. And you get a great rate, plus bonus interest for 4 months to really get you saving. Why choose? Have it all with NAB iSaver. It's what your money would do. Visit nab.com.au/iSaver to find out more.
Barry Hall, who will finish the season in the top 150 game players of all time, will pass guys like James Hird and Ron Barassi in the next few weeks. Barry Hall, he has been an outstanding player to watch. As you see McLeod having a spill on the bench for Adelaide. Swans back in front. Good competitive start this. Dangerfield got the handball out to Knights. Doughty, Thompson under some pressure from Kirk. Shirley having an influence early. Possession number 5 coming up for Robert Shirley. Doughty pokes that pass. Van Berlo. Edwards. And a pinpoint pass, hoping for Tippett. Missed him. Kirk. Well, they got him. O'Keefe ducked into that tackle, knew it was coming, put his head down, got the free.
What about a clearance from Brett Kirk, though? Already had a major impact in this game.
Grundy spears that to Barry Hall.
Gee, Bolton's on the wing. Comes back in the corridor.
So Jack send the Swans back toward attacking 50 perhaps rather than inside it. And he takes them on. Pops that pass toward half forward. Clever. Jarrett Crouch. Now, he might just be beyond his range. He knows he's beyond his range, so he tries the pass option. Good spoil from Poor Pleasure on Bevan. Came all the way down from half forward, Poor Pleasure. Bevan, who was lurking down from the back pocket. And now Marich with a handball to Otten. And the release play is good. Over the top to Stevens. He has a paddock to work in. Knows it. He's got Knights if he wants him. Does want him, but Knights shut down by Grundy. And he dropped that as he was tackled. Mattner mops it up. Misses Barlow with the handball. Barlow backtracks. Shoots it wide, not 15. Mattner again. Got Lewis Roberts-Thompson if he wants him. Cager twists, turns, and out of play as a win for Sydney.
Good forward pressure.
It was good pressure. Well, when he bounced the ball, he looked down at the ground, he didn't look up, and he just played his teammate into trouble. They don't have to panic, Adelaide. I mean, they're playing into the hands of the Sydney Swans. They're getting numbers back, but got time and space out there. Use the ball.
Yeah, good lesson for young players that learn to bounce without having to watch it down with your hand. Symes to full forward, and again, Lewis Roberts-Thompson with some strength.
Just the time when Stevens came through and bounced the ball, though, he had a couple of one-on-ones long. I just think you're right, Jack. They're getting caught up with the Swans having an extra one, but they did have a one-on-one and still didn't look up.
Wide ball to Bird, back pocket. Adelaide Crows have won 9 of their past 10 encounters against the Sydney Swans. And among that 9 of past 10, that includes the past 5 in a row. And Shaw bounces across full-back, pops that up for Mattner. Good leap, couldn't bring the mark down though. Gives Adelaide the chance here. Thompson dragged off it, ball back alive. Thornton tried to drag it through. Shirley, half ridden by his own teammate Symes, pushing the back. Shirley's ball. 13 plays 8.
Well, they're getting the switch to their effect here. It's just the next kick is the one that's troubling them.
Bock sends it long. Taylor Walker forced to wait for the bounce. Gathered nicely. Vince faked one way to Johncock. A long way down from the back pocket. Can't bend that around anywhere near enough. And it doesn't scrape in for a score.
It's another panic kick by the Adelaide Crows. They're just trying to muster a scoring shot where if they can't kick to a contest, or if they're outnumbered and so Sydney have got the numbers back, kick it out to a bit of space deep in the pocket and back Paul Pleasure and the likes and Douglas, if they're down there, to run onto the ball and create a goal.
Goods needs to go. Van Berlo thumped it clear. Doughty, Edwards, he runs himself to 48, pops it around the body, and he misses.
Well, this is the story of this game so far is the efficiency of inside 50s, where the Sydney Swans have gone in 6 times inside their 50 and kicked their 2 goals. The Adelaide Crows have gone in 12 times to only kick 1 score. So the efficiency is just not working for the Adelaide Crows at the moment.
Sure. Now, Van Berlo deemed to have bumped Goods out of the contest, and we know that's been a little bit of a grey area much of this year, but that didn't look all that grey.
And Dwayne, I've just been watching that matchup, Van Berlo and Goods. Van Berlo and Robert Shirley are actually double teaming Adam Goods at the moment.
Yeah, that was black and white, that one. O'Loughlin runs in. Kristen Thornton tapped out. Grabbers on. O'Loughlin slips through a couple, chips it over the top, and Barry Hall can't get there to attempt the mark. Matner, now he could go all the way here, thinks about it, but passes instead to Barlow.
Here's this efficiency again. 7th time in, they're going to kick for their 3rd goal. So, yeah, it's all being played on the Sydney Swans' terms at the moment. Adelaide Crows player coming from the ground, looks like having an injury. A few trainers with him.
Might be Marich, I think.
Well, that's a difference also. You mentioned it, Matner. 11 rebounds from the back 50 to Adelaide's 4, and that's where Adelaide are one of the best in the competition, is their rebound from their back 50.
It's already had a sider at Barlow, and unfortunately he hasn't got the kicking boots on early. 2 behinds. There is Marich having a rest. It's a little bruised around the eye. Not sure what happened there, but Rowan Smith will be onto it.
Dwayne, he's actually got a cut underneath his chin, so he's just going down underneath the dugout, and they're just going to clean it up, so it's just a little bit of a cut underneath the chin.
And Bock flies but can't mark, and the push. Box 3.
Front on contact.
Yeah, not looking at the ball necessarily. Yep. Had he got all ball and no body there, Adam Goods, he would have been fine. Knights thumps it along. Grundy edged into that contest, and that could have been deemed illegal as well, but he almost took one of the marks of the year to go with one he took earlier this year. Here's Grundy. High tackle. So McKay's free. Here he is. Taylor Walker pushing into that.
No doubt about the free kick to Grundy.
McKay.
3 on 3 here.
And Taylor Walker. Big leap, but again, couldn't mark. Roberts Thompson, Grundy, Bird, Grundy, and players to move on the open side. Shaw. Maurice Shaw.
Can run all the way here. Adam Goods is on for the long kick, 1-on-1.
Doesn't want to turn it over either. And your nephew did okay there. Sure, he goes back to crouch rather than turn it over.
Gee, I would have liked to see down the line 1-on-1. I think Adam Goods had great position.
And tell him after the game he did terribly. Doughty, short, Walker. Spoiled, legal from Grundy. Most here thought that he held it long enough. Grundy, he's taken on by Walker and dumped.
Some justice there, football justice there. Just a lack of awareness what was around him. Indecision.
A couple of Norwood boys there, the old and the new. Wobbler inside 50, Stevens. Nice gather. And he sends it around the body. Puts some shoe into it, but unfortunately very inaccurate. It's the behind post out on the full. Sydney by 5 points. 2 minutes from quarter time.
Double the inside 50s now to the Adelaide Crows. Just where Neil Craig would be saying, we've got to find a target inside 50. Just don't keep bombing the ball. Kick it to your advantage at 1-on-1 or pinpoint a pass, but at the moment it's just not happening. Playing into the hands of the Sydney Swans.
Have played some close games in recent times, as Lewis Roberts Thompson marks it. The last time they met, round 17 at the SCG. It was Adelaide by 24 points in that game, as this one's wide and eludes Shirley. It was a close game in terms of scoring shots. It was 22 scoring shots for Adelaide to Sydney's 23. Adelaide winning 11-11 to 6-17. So even though on the scoreboard it said a 24-point win, it was a lot closer than that. And Port Pleasure was the difference that day with 5 goals. Goods. Oh, poor fumble. Got it from Bevan in the 1-2, but couldn't make something of it. Knights stolen back by Bird. Talent into the deck. McKay back again. McLeod. Moran. Doughty. Symes. Bock. Good movement to the open side here. Chance to take the lead. Vince sets it up to the goal square. Bouncing ball. Tough one. Richards got it and they got him. Bevan hands it up to Grundy, and they're solid as ever. Bird with a minute left on the clock. Wide to Jolly. He's been floating around in that pocket free quite a bit of this game so far. O'Loughlin as the seconds continue to roll. Down to 45. Mickey O called to play on. Back to Jolly. Doesn't want to just pump it long. Kirk in a one-on-one. A little bit of body usage there from Kirk. Crowd thought it was a free for 2 movements. Shaw hands it up. Vez Primi, long. Barlow, the go-to man, can't get there, and Bock does. And barring a turnover, we should see the Swans lead by 5.
Yeah, Port Pleasure's out on the wing here.
And there might be time enough. Port Pleasure looks up and he goes. He's got an open forward line ahead of him. We're down to 10. Hands it up to Vince. We're down to 7. McKay back to McLeod. We're down to 4. He needs a quick mark. Goes to the pocket. He gets it. Knights on the left.
Well, it was fantastic by Andrew McLeod because he kicked it to the advantage of the leading forward. I mean, he probably would have known the runner would have ran out and says, look, there's only a minute to go. And they could have been excused to bomb the ball to the top of the square, as they've done for the whole of this first quarter. But class player like Andy McLeod on the end of it. Run down, but he was just able to have the poise into that forward 50 and put the ball in the advantage for Chris Knights. He has an opportunity to go back here and kick a goal.
21 goals, 3 he's kicked this year, so he's been ultra accurate, but this is probably the toughest shot that he's had for the year. This to give the Crows the lead at quarter time. And he misses everything across the face. Just a slight anticlimax there. For Sydney Swans fans, you've got to be happy with what you've seen so far. Season on the line for both these clubs. Sydney probably more so than Adelaide, and the Swans lead by 5.
It all starts with a cough. Then other symptoms take hold.
And before you know it,
8:30 Tuesday, crisis hits the NCIS.
Boss, need to show you something.
in the must-see episode.
This is one killer you don't want to catch.
NCIS, 8:30 Tuesday on 10.
If you need the latest in compact and lightweight computers, you need the SA team at Radio Rentals. Upload our huge range of ultra-portable netbooks from all the big brands in computing, including Acer, Asus, Hewlett-Packard, Toshiba and more. Download one of these great offers. Acer ultra-portable netbook with 8.9-inch LCD screen on low $555. Leader ultra-portable netbook with a huge 320GB hard drive, $939. So to get online, see the SA team at Radio Rentals. Saving SA since 1958. Terms and conditions apply. See in-store for details.
Whatever happened to a proper sale? One where you get good stuff cheap.
It's at Home Hardware.
With a Stanley Toolbox Pack, $35, or this Power King Tradesman Lead, $19.95.
A proper stock take sale.
At Home Timber and Hardware.
The proper hardware store.
Get a classic quarter, Tropicana, or classic roast combo at Red Rooster right now. And you'll also get a serve of piping hot apple bites. Dinner's done, and dessert's on us. But you gotta be quick, and it's gotta be red.
I wonder if this scarf comes in red. Change the colour. Aww.
The new Nintendo DSi.
Around the nation, people are asking,
what's that taste in my mouth?
What's that taste in my mouth?
What is that taste in my mouth?
what's that taste in your mouth? the future.
Carlton Natural Blonde. Full strength beer. Low carbohydrates. Nothing artificial. And friends with machine. The beer of tomorrow brewed in time for today. Gentlemen, taste the future in your mouth. Carlton Natural Blonde.
Eat well, feel great. It's that easy with Light and Easy. Start your commitment to a healthier, happier future today. Start online now or call 13 15 12 to see how easy losing weight and feeling great can be.
The 2009 AFL Army Award. It's all about courage, initiative and teamwork. To win the ultimate Army experience, vote now for the Play of the Round at afl.com.au or SMS COURAGE to 13 1901.
The all-new Stratco Aqualink rainwater tanks linked together to maximise rainwater harvesting. As a special introductory offer, the 1,100 litre tank, complete with dual outlets and overflow module, is just $499. Do it and save. Do it Stratco. Do it now.
The 2009 Toyota AFL Premiership season, brought to you by the 200-kilowatt Toyota Orion V6. Stratco. You'll save time and money when you do it right the first time, so do it Stratco. The SA team at Radio Rentals, saving South Australia since 1958. Ashley and Martin Medical Hair Centres. Call 1300 30 Hair. NAB. Have it all with NAB Smart Everyday Banking. And Carlton Natural Blonde. Taste the future in your mouth.
Welcome back to AAMI Stadium. Sydney's last win against Adelaide here at AAMI was 8 seasons ago, back in 2001. And so far, so good for the Swans. They lead by 5 points at quarter time as we head downstairs to Rowan Smith with John Longmire.
Well, John, you have to be happy with that first quarter.
Yeah, happy with our endeavour, and our intent was pretty good. You know, we ran pretty hard. Just really a few turnovers going forward that we could have capitalised on a little bit better, but other than that, we were okay.
The back line's been a dominant force. Adelaide going in forward there 50 a lot of times, but their ability to win their own footy has been good.
Yeah, we know that Adelaide forwards have been a real strength of theirs over the last 3 or 4 weeks, and you know, so far our blokes have been pretty composed down there, so we're going to make sure we continue that.
Thanks for your time, John.
No worries, mate.
Oh, soft, Smithy. No questions about the North Melbourne coaching job.
Well, he did say in the before the game he was going to ask him.
Yeah, exactly. Pulled out, obviously.
And
yeah.
the disposals or the match stats we got here, well, have a look at that. I mean, the highlighted ones, obviously the most notable, but inside 50, 16-8, and the scores to inside 50, 25% of 50. Well, they're just their ability to do the shutdown job once again. This is Sydney's game plan written all over this game, Shorey.
Well, another stat which stands out and is an indictment on the forward line of the Adelaide Crows and how it's set up at the moment is that Taylor Walker, Patrick Dangerfield, Richard Douglas and Kirk Tippett have had 4 possessions between them. When you go to the leading stats getters of the Sydney Swans, Matner, Richards, Roberts Thompson and Reece Shaw all playing in defence, 34 possessions to those 4. So that just shows either one. The way the ball's coming isn't good enough. They're set up with a loose man in defence and they're not coping with that, or their forwards aren't working hard enough.
They had plenty of the football. They just panicked when they went in their forward 50. They made rash decisions and they kicked under pressure. The kicking skills from both sides wasn't all that great either. So they've just got to be careful about their kicking skills.
I like to see them go one-on-one in their forward line, Adelaide Crows.
Taylor Walker back on the bench to start the second term, and a high free to Kirk to start.
Well, sure, he mentioned in the first quarter, Dwayne Kirk, he got a good front and square. Once again, he's leading by example. Start of the second quarter, he wins the first contested possessions, gets himself a free kick. So he's certainly working for his team.
Bird to Matner to Shaw. Long to full forward. O'Loughlin shields his eyes and then has to hold on. Who held who? Barry Hall's claiming it was his.
It's a holding free kick.
It is Barry Hall's ball.
I'll tell you what, too, that kick from Reece Shaw, you could see a number of defenders putting their hand up to shield the sun. That's a good ploy, especially against defenders who, you know, they're under the pressure already. They put your hand up in the air. You're not balanced in how you're going to body on your man.
And in the first quarter, Adelaide were coming from that other side in the inside 50, so maybe they've worked something here that it's to their advantage.
For his second, Barry Hall. And to extend this lead to the biggest margin of the game, he squeezes it in. They lead by 11.
Okay, now he's lining up the big one.
This is gonna be a big lift, Jerry. That tender, crisp burger is 100% chicken breast. And it's loaded up with tasty bacon.
And cheese, Hank. Don't forget, he's got to lift the cheese, too.
Oh, he's done it in one clean grab. Try the new cheesy bacon tender crisp. It's one serious chicken burger.
The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
I mentioned the win by Adelaide last time these two met by 24 points. Barry Hall only managed 1 goal in that game. He is vital. He's now kicked 2 for the Sydney Swans 3. They lead by 11. Jolly in the ruck against Moran. Neither a decisive knock for a clearance, and the umpire will be forced to do it all again as we head down to Rowan Smith.
Well, Dwayne, just an update on Ivan Maric. Been stitched up underneath, so he's received 3 stitches, actually, so the trainers tell us. But he looks okay. He was a little bit groggy as he walked down into the rooms, but looks okay now. Expect him back on soon.
Taylor Walker, who was stitched up in that opening term, back on the bench for Adelaide with him. McLeod. Crouch hassles him. I know Jason Ackermanis said that he was a pest, Jared Crouch, and well, you can take that as a compliment because that's exactly what he did there. He pestered McLeod into forcing a ball up and almost getting a hold in the ball against him.
Jared Crouch, very ordinary last week, Dwayne. Very ordinary, and he even came out publicly and said he was pretty poor.
O'Keefe again inside 50. O'Loughlin caught behind Andy Otten. What an outstanding season Andy Otten, one of the contenders for the Rising Star Award, he's having in 2009.
And the beauty about that, Dwayne, was he had the confidence against one of the best players of his time in Michael O'Loughlin just to take him on, and it was a great mark.
Oh, danger. John Cock, almost a turnover and almost an arm slap free to Jude Bolton. Doughty dragged down. Bolton dives back in. Kirk, where else would you expect him to be? Ball up.
Gee, I tell you, this game is being played, a very frustrating game. I still believe Otten here, as you said, Dwayne, had a sensational year. I still believe you've got to have faith in the way that you played over the last 6 weeks, the Adelaide Crows. Gone back into the old system of wanting the handball too much, trying to release the player into space.
The ball up, Shirley, third man up, down to Goods. Can't turn to get a snap on it. Jack does. He turns, gets a snap on it, nails it. They lead by 17.
Well, we might...
A grieving widow.
Tell me about your husband.
What's there to say? He's dead.
A grieving widow 5 times over.
In this brand new SVU.
Sometimes I think my real talent is in attracting bad men.
Can you see what type of widow she really is?
Bing, bang, bong.
You better watch your back, Elliot.
Thank you. There's so few gentlemen left in the world.
New SVU, 8:30 Wednesday on 10.
We know how dangerous Kieran Jack can be. Kicked the winning goal against the West Coast in round 8. Just when the Eagles thought they had that one wrapped up. And there's a couple of players, including Taylor Walker, still suffering on the bench for Adelaide. 17 points, the margin. Clearance for Patrick Dangerfield of sorts. Not a decisive clearance, nor a decisive possession for O'Keefe. Shaw mopped it up. Gave to Jack. Little fumble from Smith.
Oh, well done. Well done.
A free play on advantage. Adelaide Crows player stopped. Shaw, low trajectory to Hall. Rutten with him. Hall collects, takes him on. Brabazon. Now he lays a half shepherd. Brabazon to the pocket. O'Loughlin can't get a fly at it. Stayed down. Tried the don't argue. Gets a kick away. And the Mickey O of old might have nailed that behind.
Tell the Sydney Swans midfield are belting the Crows midfield at the moment. Just Kirk's been sensational. But Reece Shaw's playing on the wings, been brilliant.
Tony, they've got them rattled all around the contested possessions. Somewhere, a lot of times where Adelaide have been very good in that area, they're just getting dictated, more so dictated by Sydney at the minute.
Swans by 3 goals. Maric, good pluck. Crouch disadvantaged through height. And a wide ball, and Moran gives it up to Thompson.
She's no flow.
Shirley back to Moran. Good movement. Thompson long inside 50. And getting back Jolly. It is.
Poor option. He had Jolly in his vision, and he still tried to actually kick it over the top of him, but he couldn't make the distance. So he's just got to probably get the ball to a ball carrier and allow someone else a better opportunity going in their forward 50.
Wobbler. Turnover. More pleasure. Too far out to score, you would think. Centering kick, okay, Knights. We know he's within range.
Well, you could ill afford, you're dominating the game, and all it came down to was a poor decision and execution of skills by Heath Grundy. Oh.
The Adelaide Crows have kicked 1 in every 5 goals this year from outside 50. And this man is one of the reasons why.
Now that's a bit pedantic from the umpires. I think he moved him 3 centimetres, Dwayne.
Runs to the paint. Kicks from outside 50. It's got the carry and misses.
Those 3 centimetres counted.
17 points the margin. Little chip wide. O'Keefe. Not a lot to go to. Held up. Barlow. Inboard, Bevan. To Barlow. He's got Kirk wide. Ignored that, went longer. White. Oh, well done. Good jump. Hands it off. O'Keefe. Barry Hall in position A here. Otten had to turn. Barry Hall marks.
Did that very well. He was conscious of not putting his hands in the back of Otten there. Both guys running back. The sun was a factor, but Barry Hall, through his experience, was able to just put his body in the way. But well done by White, who came up and hit the contest. It was just a fantastic mark from the key centre half forward at that particular role that he played at that time.
Well, he's hot, Barry Hall, for number 3. Crows have got some problems.
3 days only. Harvey Norman's massive half-yearly clearance goes hardcore. Savings like up to 30% off outdoor furniture, up to 40% off lounges and dining, up to 40% off bedding ensembles, up to 25% off bedroom furniture, up to 20% off laptops and desktops, up to 30% off multifunctions and GPS, up to 20% off plasmas, LCDs and small appliances, up to 15% off white goods. 3 days only. Ends this weekend at Harvey Norman.
Paul Roos will be happy with the way things are transpiring at the moment. John Blakey was next to him, of course, and John Longmire also part of their very experienced coaching crew with Bird. Another clearance over the head of Barlow. Stevens couldn't mark it. Barlow crumbs, gives to Goods. Faked, he wants to get around. Does now, onto the left, centering kick. Not exactly where he wanted it. Marriage, Hall, hits the deck. Brabazon couldn't trap it. McKay. Doughty. Someone needs to get them going. High pop-up kick.
Oh, well done.
Jude Bolton. Clever spoil on McKay. Down to Kirk. Couple of options inboard. Oh, gee, Barry Hall nearly took everyone out. Lucky for the mark to Scott Stevens. And he was still standing and able to take it. John Cock to Bock. They're away now. They need some inspiration from somewhere. He ran too far.
Well, that comes about by the Sydney Swans having those numbers behind the play, and they have not coped with it well, the Crows. Doughty's down behind play. I think it was because he doubted what he did with the ball when he turned it over, just an half-back flank.
Well, Adelaide are now pushing more numbers down because they're fearful of Barry Hall. He's up, he's leading, he's hitting every contest, and they're getting numbers back, whilst on the other side, Sydney are trying to isolate him.
Outstanding there, Jolly. To O'Keefe, short, missed O'Loughlin to the pocket. Rutten mops it up. Comes across the defensive goal. Van Berlo, Barry Hall hunts him down. But he earned that kick. Vince. And he was put down and...
He played for it.
Did he play for it or was it there?
Yeah, no, look, it's down the ground a little bit late. No report, just play on.
He might lose this.
So Jesse White, as this play goes on, is being dumped. He's put a couple down, Jesse White. Fair enough too, because they attacked him, had to defend himself. It's still on behind play. Kristen Thornton, it's about to come back in their direction. Van Berlo's still going on with it. Over the top, the turnover, Doughty. See, that split up quickly, that fracas after Barry Hall.
Oh, they're on here.
Turned up. Dangerfield inboard. And behind play, you can see a few still arguing, but in the meantime, Kurt Tippett to line up and reduce this margin.
Oh, that is a 50-metre penalty. That's all it is. No report. You play for it, of course, so you can get your 50, but again, another skill error by the Sydney Swans coming out of their defensive half to allow the Crows to have the shot at goal.
20 goals, 9 this season. Kurt Tippett, ultra important kick this. And he loves it off the boot. Saluted the minute it left the leather. Back to 17.
sucker. Cold water never hurt nobody. It's time to get in the pool. Cause you going swimming, fool. Take that, toe dipper. I hate flying, so make this the last time I catch you crying. Snickers, get some nuts.
Have another look again. It wasn't all that late, even in slow motion.
Oh, yeah, there wasn't a lot in it, was it? And the other thing, though, emotionally, Jesse White, now they've reported Jesse White, but he'll get off that.
Did he make contact with his
Well, I
the
think
head at all?
just at the end, the arm came off the shoulder and looked maybe like he's got up all right. I think that'll be thrown out straight away. The umpire was on a bad angle then.
But to Bernie Vince's credit, I mean, he got up. He got up, and he's the one laughing because he's mustered a goal for his side.
The one thing about Jesse White, though, why do you want to get the opposition up emotionally by doing something like that? That's the question Paul Roos will be asking.
O'Keefe long. O'Loughlin forced to spoil because he couldn't get the jump. There's Primi, tries to drive his way through, can't get rid of it, and will get a ball up. Pat Vespremi in for his first game of the season after that ruptured finger tendon. Caused him to miss the first half of this year. Coming off a pretty good season last year, Pat Vespremi. Jack tunnels it out, Crouch, Bird, chip kick, pocket, good use of the arms. Vespremi on cue shows just how good he is.
Well, get a second look here. Did he push? It's in the side.
In the side.
So it's in the side. Well, you expect the Crows not to be happy about that, but it was in the side.
Well,
they wouldn't be happy if they won Tats Lotto.
Had John Cox
the score the way it is.
Took a dive there, it would have been an interesting decision for the umpire. There's Primi misses to the near side, so maybe the footy gods didn't believe he deserved it. Only a behind, but there's still the team doing most of the attacking, and again voices that word of displeasure.
It's good to see the kid hates making a mistake.
Otten bounces across defensive 50 and turns it over to Barry Hall. That was the pressure from O'Loughlin there. He turned around to see if someone was coming, saw O'Loughlin, knew he had to deliver it quickly. Vespremi lurking again. John Cock fist beats him. Ball out of play.
That is really good, though, that they go to Vespremi instead of O'Loughlin. I know Hall had the ball and O'Loughlin led up, but try and utilise other forwards in the Sydney Swans. It makes your opponent accountable.
Still eligible for the Rising Star Award as well, Pat Vespremi. Less than 11 games of experience and under the 21-year-old threshold. Shaw runs to 48. That's a big bomb. That's out of here. They lead by 24.
Oh, lovely.
Awesome.
Oh, man.
Look at that. That's amazing. Yeah.
Fantastic.
On the wing.
7 clearances to 1, Sydney's favour this quarter. 40 plays 16, and this full house here at AAMI Stadium a little shell-shocked. Biggest margin of the game, 24 points. Dangerfield with the clearance, but again it's not a decisive one. Poor pleasure, bouncing ball. Bevan kept his feet well there. Bird takes on the tacklers, no prior opportunity. Jude Bolton tries to thread one through. Poor pleasure, attacked by Grundy. Ball up. Rowan Smith.
Dwayne, one thing that's been working for the Swans is their ability to drag Nathan Bock all the way back to the right on the last line of defence. That over the last 5 weeks, he's been the main catalyst for their drives outside of their 50, and he's just hasn't been able to do that today.
Edwards not able to break free here, and you mentioned some of the players not able to do the things they've done in recent weeks. Scott Thompson being well held at the moment, just the 8 possessions, well held by Brett Kirk, who's with him every step of the way.
Well, the thing about that, Scotty Stevens is a loose man in defence now. You can easily swap him over to Barlow.
Sorry, Chura.
No, that's all right.
Kirk, the man who's on Thompson, got one for his trouble there, and it takes a bit to put Brett Kirk down.
Does it what? Especially if you hit him in the head. It's one of the hardest parts of his body. He's a great player, isn't he?
Coming off that 41 possession game last week, and is back in form. Turnover here, Brad Moran. Stevens. Symes. Back to Stevens, back to Symes. Thought about back to Moran, doesn't. Shirley. And he goes back to Brad Moran. Not a lot to go to. Thumps it along to a one-on-one. Grundy and Walker. Walker back on after spending some time on the bench. Jack. Wide. Richards. Otten. Richards takes them on, but the handball a little astray. And a free kick too high.
Oh, Teddy Richards, sometimes the skills under pressure just lets him down.
Bok. The man they've, as Jacko said, been successful in shutting down. Oh, Douglas. Barry Hall tracked him down. It's on the ball or back. It's ball. Barry shaped there to let him know, I'm going to throw you off it if you don't give it to me straight away. And well done, Barry Hall. Could quite easily have given a free kick away there, but tackled legally. Shaw sends it along towards attacking 50. Would spoil that time from Stevens on Ves Primi. And again, they're confident to go to him, the youngster in game number 7.
I'll tell you what, they've got to shut down Reece Shaw. He is having a free range attack off a wing, and I haven't seen an opponent go to him for the last 7 minutes of this quarter.
Symes, the man they got in that Matner trade swap, the Adelaide Crows, to Vince, to Rutten.
No movement.
Space to use, uses it all. Leeds come now. There's no one in the square. He's hacked it long. This can just trickle through for a behind. Nick Smith decides to take possession and take them on. Not a lot to go to it. How's that for poise for a player in game number 4? Nick Smith, just his second game of this season. Crouch. He's got Bevan back in the defensive goal square. And Bevan, as you can see, left the screen. Lewis Roberts-Thompson was free. 24 points the margin. And we're about to tick into time on second term. Reece Shaw. Back to LRT. Shaw. A little bit of possession football here. Barry Hall having a rest. And a good rest as well for that hard chase. A little spent after that one, but did cause the turnover for his team. Crouch. Got it from Matner, who feeds off again for the 1-2. Crouch says no, he's shut down. In fact, he does go to him now. Matner again on the wing now. Sydney 418 disposals last week in that loss to Collingwood, which is the most the Sydney Swans have ever had in a game, and they're racking up the disposals again right now. But it might end in a turnover here. Splendid pick-up, Dangerfield, and then dumped it back in. Half got it, takes them on. Clever, handball not good though, missed McLeod, and the turnover back again. They might make him pay. Crouch to Jude Bolton. Adelaide getting players back now, but they've still got 3 men in the midfield, Sydney. O'Keefe, one of them. Jack's another. And they go wide instead. So
Well,
Matner at half-back.
they're utilising this time for the last 3 or 4 minutes. They just played keepies off, and it's just further frustrating Adelaide, who have got no momentum at all.
Bok, nicely, good grab. Fantastic use of the knee. I'll tell you like them. Edwards. Moran plays on, takes on Jude Bolton and wins. Oh, he's called that holding the ball.
Well, it must have been only at a time issue of how long he was tackled.
Gee, how long have you got?
Plenty of time, you heard him say.
All right, let's have a look. Jude Bolton, has he got rid of it by the time?
You would give him the benefit of the doubt, wouldn't you?
I think so.
Depends on who you barrack for as to whether that's for free or not. O'Keefe, of course, the umpires are umpires from birth, we're told. They never get a chance to barrack for anybody, even in their youth. Wide ball, O'Loughlin dragged down, calls for a free, doesn't get it.
Tell you what, the Adelaide Crows supporters be thinking, is this the same side we've seen in the last month? As you look at the indecision.
Yep. Miranda Symes. Science his way through the middle. Tippett, Grundy. Grundy gets there first, thumps it out. Bird diving in, Van Berlo almost throws that out. Grundy taps it away. Cleverness again, and he's got Jolly free, misses him. Douglas, Adelaide Crows have spare men. Tippett's on the move to the pocket. 2 Swans to beat.
Oh, well
and
done.
that's almost a win. He got one to the ear, Kurt Tippett, but as you can hear from the boos, the crowd not happy he didn't get the free.
It was a rush decision once again by Adelaide. It was good interception, but he didn't have to go to the first option that came to his eyesight, and that was Kurt Tippett. Once again, it was 2-1 outnumbered.
Good scoring opportunity here, though. Again, another clearance. O'Keefe, Grundy, Matner, Richards. Bounce pass, Smith, and now Kirk tries to bounce on the slippery turf. Pops it to Barry Hall just off the bench, so should be reasonably fresh, Barry, and sent back to the bench by Michael Doughty.
They've wasted 4 minutes, haven't they? They've just we're at the 8-minute mark. Yep. So 8-minute mark, they've wasted 3 minutes just by holding possession of the ball, the Swans.
They'd be more than happy to go in at half-time with a 24-point margin, the Sydney Swans, so clever play.
Gee, they're tough in the crunches, though. They've been harder than the Adelaide Crows at these clearances.
And to add to that, they've kept Adelaide to 6 scoring shots for a half of football.
Calling for players to get back from the coach's box there. Kirk put his head down again. Douglas steals the ball. Vince, Thompson, possession number 10. Vince, short. Moran, Otten, back to Moran, and again they feed it inside to the corridor, and Bock, who they like to go to, get some space here for the first time in a while. Out wide to Rutten. All about this kick now. Tippett to the pocket. Again, 3 Swans with him. And again, they see it out of play and set it up for the clearance.
50-35 contested possessions, Dwayne. That is a total dominance in the first half.
Also too, Shorey, over the last probably 4 or 5 weeks, Adelaide have been really confident going inside their forward 50 today. They've just been really hesitant.
O'Keefe, another possession. Jolly, who's been good in all facets today. Kirk, Crouch, little fumble. O'Keefe, wider. Jude Bolton, they've worked this beautifully. Matner, he's got O'Loughlin. In fact, O'Loughlin came a long way down to get a possession there just to help out. They've pushed a few back, which means they haven't got a lot forward. Grabbers on Newitt and tackled and dragged down, holding the ball. John Cox ball.
First thought released to Adam Goods as he grabbed that ball. Oh,
throw from Crouch.
There was Adam Goods. A little handball there, might have just broken him free. He's a smart player, Goods, to get away from the contest.
Doughty. Now the Swans have every player ahead of this ball. They've flooded back. Otten, can he find some space? Paul Pleasure over his head. But a good spot for a ball in for the Adelaide Crows with 3:13 on the clock to half-time, and half-time can't come quick enough for them, so they can reset. Marich warming up for one last crack at it. From the ball in. Another clearance. O'Keefe, Goods. Wide ball, Barry Hall. Look out, Otten. Took him down. Bock, Hall. Good collision. Otten's hurt. He's holding his head. That might be a little high too. Adelaide Crow free kick. Douglas. Here's this head high. Oh yeah, nice elbow to the ear. That'll always hurt, especially when it's Hall's elbow. Off hands. Taylor Walker hasn't seen a lot of it here. Well, that's got to be ball of the other one, was.
Gee, they've done a great job. Their defence. Sydney Swans defence is just totally on top now.
Goods to Jack to Matner. They've been impressive. Shaw thumps it long. Jesse White. Hands again. And 50. That'll bring him almost within range, Jesse White.
It will.
Yeah, brainwaves there, Bocky. He forgot about the rule because he got out marked and he just put his arms around and wrapped him up. Could have done that a couple of years ago, but he forgot all about it.
Sorry, Jacko, from the Barry Hall elbow. Yes. So the blood streaming from Andy Otten. So that'll be the end of him for the half. And Jesse White will line up a goal from 50. Sorry, Barry Hall, did I say? Yeah.
A big kick in the context of the game. From one end, he's been good. White is just strong at the contest.
A fairly accurate kick too. 5 goals won this year. And
you'll
bends that around.
You'll moz him.
is yet another tall player from Southport on the Gold Coast, Jesse White. They just keep coming, and like a few of the others from the Gold Coast, an ex-basketballer as well. The same club as Kirk Tippett, the same background as Kirk Tippett, Southport.
They might keep coming, but they might go quick too.
Yeah, that's true. To the Gold Coast. Short pass from the kick in, Vince.
Have a look at this, how they are, I'm not going to say it, there's a word I've used about 6 weeks ago.
Crabs?
Well, that's how it's happening at the moment, mainly because the Sydney Swans are setting up brilliantly.
McLeod wide to Marich.
Well, Richards behind the play now, loose man in defence. He cannot kick the ball down the line. If he kicks it long, they will be outnumbered. As you can see this, just playing into the hands, I believe, of the Sydney Swans.
Lead stands at 25, which is the biggest margin of the game.
You've got to take some risks. You've got to just think, OK, let's try and penetrate and get over the lines.
Vince. Now Rutten can go here. Has some space. Doesn't want to use it. Pops the pass up to Shirley. John Cock was running past, but he said no, no. So Shirley forced the dish off back to Vince. And now the high bomb. Hoping for Tippett, who can't get near it. Poor Pleasure, front spot. It dropped on everyone. And Paul Pleasure was in position A and gets a chance to get the last score of the half.
The one aspect that was pleasing about this forward entry this time, they just thought their way through it. Okay, they chipped the ball. It wasn't pretty football. The lucks of fortune, the ball dropped a little bit and Paul Pleasure got himself in the right position. But it just allows the Adelaide forwards to manoeuvre around in the forward line and find space. Instead of being so structured or so stationary, you've got to keep giving options.
Already has one. And just a standard excellence from Jason Paul Pleasure.
At NAB, we can help you choose a home loan with options that will best suit you now and in the future. Want to split your loan between fixed and variable rates? Or would you prefer a discount on both fixed and variable rates? Or is making savings across all of your banking with NAB for one annual package fee more your style? Why choose? Have it all with NAB Choice Package. It's what your money would do. Call 13 13 12 to find out how.
Well, here was the difference last time the two teams met. As I mentioned earlier, a 24-point win to Adelaide that day at the SCG, and he kicked 5 of them in an 11-goal game for the Adelaide Crows. Paul Pleasure 5 of the 11, and he's now got 2 of their 3. Just seconds remaining. Time enough for another clearance here. Bird knew it, got it up. Jude Bolton sends it towards attacking 50 Vespremi. John Cock couldn't bring the mark down. The seconds continue to roll. Symes, Bock, Matner drags him out, and really only time enough for a free kick from this ball in.
It's good work by John Cock in that contest. He didn't overcommit. He just held his body, because he could have given a free kick away there and would have been crucial right on the stroke of half-time.
And the tie-up, and the half ends appropriately with Brett Kirk, the captain for the Sydney Swans, laying a tackle in the clinches. Half-time at Amy, and it's the Sydney Swans by 19. 6-5-41. Adelaide 3-4-22.
No weapon forged by man can kill a wraith. It will stop at nothing till it has accomplished what it came for.
If you fight him, you will die. No one is unbeatable. This is no ordinary night.
My death will stop the wraith.
Merlin, 6:30 Sunday on 10.
Okay, once more round. Beat this poser. 3 laps to go.
Keep running.
Make it home, make it home, make it home. Is that Adam Goods? Catch up. September.
Powerade Isotonic. Perform at your peak for longer. Powerade, the power to reach your goal.
Get a classic quarter, Tropicana or classic roast combo at Red Rooster right now. And you'll also get a serve of piping hot apple bites. Dinner's done and dessert's on us. But you got to be quick and it's got to be red.
My whole business, it's all about dependability. I have to rely on my fleet, and I know I always can because all my Mitsubishis, they come with an added advantage.
It's the Mitsubishi Diamond Advantage, a 10-year powertrain warranty on all the important stuff, plus a 5-year new car warranty, and 5 years roadside assist for added peace of mind.
It's good to have a bit of certainty these days, and with Mitsubishi, my business delivers. Love that car.
If you don't have private hospital cover, the government's lifetime health cover loading could hit hard. Call Mutual Community to soften the blow of June 30. And if you join Hospital and Extras today, you could claim immediately on most extras.
Are you with Mutual Community?
Two friends are going on a journey to change the course of history.
I need to go be a slave now.
When do you get off?
Never. I'm a slave.
Oh yeah, of course.
Year one, only at the movies now.
Around the nation, people are asking,
what's that taste in my mouth?
What's that taste in my mouth?
What is that taste in my mouth?
what's that taste in your mouth? The future.
Carlton Natural Blonde. Full strength beer. Low carbohydrates. Nothing artificial. And friends with machine. The beer of tomorrow brewed in time for today. Gentlemen, taste the future in your mouth. Carlton Natural Blonde.
Get a classic quarter, Tropicana or classic roast combo at Red Rooster right now. And you'll also get a serve of piping hot apple bites. Dinner's done and dessert's on us. But you got to be quick and it's got to be red.
We have heaters, we have small heaters, big heaters.
Your bathroom heaters, your towel heaters.
Indoor heaters, outdoor heaters.
Patio heaters.
We have all of those products and more at Bunnings.
Column heater, $29.90. Patio heater, $148. Insulation bats, $51.50. Firewood, $9.98. If you happen to find a cheaper price on a stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Get the best price at Bunnings.
Bunnings Warehouse. Lowest prices are just the beginning.
This is 10 News with George Danikian.
Good evening. Welcome to this special halftime bulletin. We'll go back to the football shortly. First tonight, the frantic emergency call as Michael Jackson lay dying. As tributes flow in from across the world, the Los Angeles coroner has revealed it could well be a month before the exact cause of death is known.
The emergency call reveals the desperate attempts to save Michael Jackson's life at his rented Bel Air mansion.
We have a personal doctor here with him, sir.
Oh, you have a doctor there?
Yes, but he's not responding to anything. No, he's not responding to CPR or anything, sir.
Oh.
An autopsy has been performed, but more tests are needed before the LA coroner can determine the cause of death.
There was no indication of any external trauma or any indication of foul play.
However, the coroner's office did confirm Jackson was on prescription medication. Investigators spent hours at Jackson's house overnight searching for clues, even impounding the car used by the doctor who was there at the time the 50-year-old collapsed. Jackson's 3 children are being cared for by his family, his father emerging to wave to fans. But the children's future could be decided in the courts. Michael Jackson's superstar friends have also lined up to share their memories.
He was a genius talent, and I will miss him until the day I go.
A worldwide talent millions of fans will never forget.
He didn't deserve to go like this soon.
Thousands of fans have also gathered here on the Hollywood Walk of Fame around Michael Jackson's star. Of course, another outpouring of grief is expected at his funeral. So far, no details have been made public and his body is yet to be released to his family by the coroner. Most certainly, the cause of death will not be known before the funeral. Toxicology test results are expected to take up to 6 weeks. In Hollywood, Nicole Strawn, 10 News.
Man has been charged over an early morning stabbing at Glenelg. A 24-year-old from Glenelg suffered lacerations in an incident at a Jetty Road convenience store. He's in the Flinders Medical Centre in a non-life-threatening condition. Sturt Police have arrested a 21-year-old Gawler East man who's been bailed to appear at a later date. And witnesses are being sought in a hit run at Morford Vale. A 17-year-old was injured when he was struck by a vehicle travelling north on Main South Road. The van, a Hi-Ace or Tarago, is likely to have front-end damage. The teenager's injuries are not life-threatening. South Australia's Independent Senator Nick Xenophon has called for a Senate inquiry, claiming Canberra's bowed to big business by ditching its Grocery Watch scheme. The website was supposed to scrutinise supermarket prices, but was canned after the government met with major supermarkets yesterday. Now several MPs are questioning the timing of the announcement.
Have the Kings of Spin used the death of the King of Pop as cover for some embarrassing news?
Labor says it's looking at other options. A surfer has been attacked by a shark on the New South Wales south coast. The grandfather was taken to hospital after being bitten on the leg at 7 Mile Beach this morning.
And I felt something push me from behind, and I felt a pressure on my leg, and I thought it was another surfer, so I turned around to say, "What are you doing?" And then I saw the back of the shark.
Authorities haven't decided whether to erect warning signs along the beach. The size and breed of shark is not known. We'll have the sport highlights for you next in our halftime bulletin before we take you back to the football, and that includes a wrap of the Pies Freo game.
Sunday, you're in for a big surprise. Rove's got the first ever Australian interview with the one and only Bruno.
Lord help me, we have Bruno live in studio.
The Austrian fashionista will be live with Rove Sunday.
To win the game, everything has to work together. That's why the Toyota Orion has V6 power and outstanding fuel economy and exhilarating pace with impressive handling. The 200 kilowatt Toyota Orion. It's a whole new ballgame.
It's going to be a big lift, Hank.
Yeah, that's a tender crisp. 100% chicken breast fillet loaded up with bacon.
And cheese, Hank.
Oh, he's done it! Try the new cheesy bacon tender crisp. It's one serious chicken burger.
Gaswell Tool Centre's end of financial year big brand sale is on now. Hurry, for a short time only. The warehouse is overstocked. We need to move stock before the end of June. Snap up a bargain from all the big brand manufacturers. Many below wholesale. Power tools, compressors, welders, all reduced. Chainsaws, brush cutters, blowers. See our full range of still power equipment. Everything for tradies and home handymen. And our end of financial year sale is the time to buy at Gaswell. 4 convenient locations: City, St Mary's, Lonsdale and Paraka.
During your 18 months of Army officer training at the Royal Military College Duntroon, you learn how to be a leader in any situation. Because one day, that situation could become very real. Think you've got what it takes? Make your next move count. Call 13 1901 or visit defencejobs.gov.au today.
They say never go against the family. Sorry, Nonna, but your pastor doesn't stand a chance.
Warren gets a wicket with his very last ball.
That stuff you say about Advanced Hair Studio, is that true or just great spin?
Mate, I'm telling you, without Advanced Hair Studio, I'd look like the new ball.
Yeah?
You mean, yeah.
Call Advanced Hair Studio now.
That's just un-Australian.
Yeah, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, boys, we're on.
Good luck, Scotty.
Got any smooth Bundy Red rum?
No, we're a bourbon bar, and rum ain't smooth.
Lucky we brought our own then.
Damn, that is smooth. You can't bring it in here.
Why not? You're BYO, right?
New red gum filtered Bundy Red. The rum's so smooth, even bourbon drinkers will go for it.
Loosen up, mate. It's going to be a big lift, Hank.
Yeah, that's a tender crisp. 100% chicken breast fillet loaded up with bacon.
And cheese, Hank.
Oh, he's done it! Try the new cheesy bacon tender crisp. It's one serious chicken burger.
When Frank Woodley, Tim Ferguson and Kitty Flanagan join the Good News Week team, it's bound to lead to one thing.
Champagne coffee, McDermott, champagne!
8:30 Monday on 10.
In this afternoon's other game, Collingwood has locked fourth place up on the AFL ladder, recording its fifth straight win. A brilliant opening term by the Pies, enough to set up an 84-point victory against Fremantle.
A chat with the coach and Paul Medhurst was back in the Magpie fold. He replaced the ill Neon Leon, who wasn't needed, in an inspired black and white opening. Collingwood slamming on, goal after goal.
Who snaps and goes!
The break one margin blown to 25. The Docker task becoming greater when their skipper was sidelined with a calf. But they fought on valiantly, they gained respect, and then had the briefest glimmer of hope.
Somehow it's a goal!
But even with their pants down, the Pies was still a class above.
Let's play with a handicap.
The Pies lined up for Goal of the Year contention in the third. First, Harry O'Brien with a rare major.
He's kicked a remarkable goal! One of the goals of the year!
Then Sharad Wellingham's turn. He ran, he bounced, and he provided another gem.
Hand from hard up against the line.
A dismal day complete for the Dockers. Stephen Dodd left flattened.
Friendly fire, and Dodd gets hit by Solomon. Not too friendly.
The men from the West now with 6 straight losses. The Pies with 5 straight wins. Their final term, a 10-goal-2 onslaught.
And it's just
Spreads the wings, takes the mark, and finishes it with a behind.
If only Heath Shaw had kicked the goal, the Magpie day would have been perfect. Tim Hodges, 10 News.
In the SANFL, West Adelaide has kept touch with the top 5, beating Norwood at the Parade. The 3-goal win allows West to leapfrog Norwood on the ladder to move within 2 wins of finals contention. To the World Game, and Adelaide United has beaten Perth 1-0 in a pre-season friendly at Hindmarsh Stadium. Travis Dodd securing the win in the 25th minute thanks to a fine solo effort. United peppered the glory goal but couldn't extend their lead. They next head to Darwin for another friendly against the North Queensland Fury coming up Thursday. Australia's last 2 remaining hopes at Wimbledon are in action tonight. Leighton Hewitt and Samantha Stosur both playing for a spot in the 4th round. There were no major upsets last night. Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic booking a place in the last 16. It was a similar story in the women's. Serena Williams and Elena Demencheva both progressing. Federer did look in complete control against Germany's Philipp Kohlschreiber, taking the first 2 sets with ease, but the 27th seed did hit back in the 3rd. Federer restored order in the 4th, taking it 6-1. He'll next play the Swede Robin Söderling. Australia's batsmen have enjoyed valuable time in the middle, just 11 days out from the Ashes. Impressive knocks to Michael Clarke, Ricky Ponting and Philip Hughes enable the visitors to set Sussex 418 runs for victory. The Aussies declaring at stumps on day 3, 7 for 379. Brief look at the weather, and after a low of 10.1 at 7:45, we did reach 16.5 at 2:38 this afternoon. Tomorrow we can expect a light shower at 2 and a top of 17. That's 10 News for the moment. Stay with us as we cross back to Amy Stadium for the second half of the footy.
They're headed straight into trouble.
Do everything exactly as I say, all right?
Turn around. Spread them.
Yes, I do.
With the right tools and advice, you can do it for fun when you do it Stratco. Big 6-litre can of paint at only $29.95 and 5 thin column heater just $39.95. If you find a lower price on a stocked hardware item, we'll match it. So do it for fun, do it Stratco. Do it now.
Get a classic quarter, Tropicana or classic roast combo at Red Rooster right now. And you'll also get a serve of piping hot apple bites. Dinner's done and dessert's on us. But you gotta be quick and it's gotta be red.
Now, Liz, here's something that I know netball fans are going to love.
What's that, Luke?
Well, it's a competition, Liz, that gives a fan and 3 of their best friends the chance to enjoy VIP hospitality at the 2009 ANZ Championship Netball Grand Final. The prize includes flights, transfers, accommodation and corporate hospitality.
Sounds outstanding. How do I win?
Simply SMS Netball with your full name and postcode to 1993 3199. It's all thanks to our broadcast partners, ANZ, Holden, Asics, San Remo, Allied Pickfords and Lorraine Lee Linen. What are you doing?
I'm just getting my entry in early.
ANZ Championship, the hottest game in town.
Truscott's Casual Living Croydon stock take sale. Truscott's Casual Living have an incredible range of electrical and furniture going cheap. Only until Sunday, up to 30% off furniture and electrical. Truscott's Casual Living, 449 Port Road, Croydon.
The 2009 AFL Army Award. It's all about courage, initiative and teamwork. To win the ultimate Army experience, vote now for the Play of the Round at afl.com.au or SMS COURAGE to 131901.
City, Dreamland, Feeling. Dreamland will not be undersold on Sealy. It's a fact. Dreamland will beat any Sealy price. So if anyone says Dreamland doesn't have the biggest range and the best prices on Sealy, tell them they're dreaming. Sealy at Dreamland.
Get a classic quarter, Tropicana or classic roast combo at Red Rooster right now. And you'll also get a serve of piping hot apple bites. Dinner's done and dessert's on us. But you gotta be quick and it's gotta be red.
Introducing new Mars Red. It's half the fat with thick chocolate, caramel and double whipped nougat. So it's just like a Mars, only red.
Welcome back to Amy Stadium on the seaside of beautiful downtown Adelaide. And most Adelaide fans won't be too happy with that scoreline. Sydney by 19 points at the long change. It's against the flow. Sydney Swans coming in having lost their past 3. The Adelaide Crows coming in having won their past 4. As the Swans get together and we head downstairs to Rowan Smith.
Thanks very much, Dwayne. Well, just before half-time, we've seen a little bit of an incident with Andy Otten. He went straight down the rooms, had some blood coming from the back of his head, just above his ear. It was just a little bit of an accidental elbow by Barry Hall, just copped him at the back of the head. So he went down into the rooms, and we've been told that he's been stitched up as well. So Ivan Marich has been stitched up, Andy Otten has been stitched up. So he's going to take his place out on the field at the start of this third quarter. So he looks okay now, boys.
Thanks for that, Smithy. Who wins it, Chori?
Oh, look, you'd have to say the Sydney Swans. Look, the good thing about the Adelaide Crows is that they're only, 19 points down. They've played shocking football. So Neil Craig's got a bonus here. He can go to him and say, OK, what we do, we don't want any loose men in defence for the Sydney Swans. I will back you forwards in one-on-one. And our midfielders, once you get into space and you're running with the ball, use your foot skills. With the ball carry, the forwards are coming up at you, hit the target, then get back quick, and then drive it in the space to give one-on-one contest. And it looks like they've set up already the Adelaide Crows with every forward has a man and there is no loose man in defence. I think that's a good start.
They've got to get a couple of midfielders, just get on top of their game, start getting more penetration. Good work through getting their ball through the middle of the ground, but hit inside their forward 50 with precision.
You're joining us for the first time. Sydney Swans led by as much as 25 points in the second term. A lead by 19 as we get the second half underway. And a big leap by Moran, but he missed the ball. O'Keefe tied up, hands to Crouch, kick smothered by Shirley. Good tackle and an aggressive start from the Adelaide Crows, and that was the trend for the Sydney Swans in the opening half. Very aggressive from the clearances.
Just one thing too, Jared Crouch has been a good player, but he's coming to the end of his career, just cannot afford turnovers from some of the Sydney Swans lesser light midfielders.
Kirk dragged down a little bit of his own medicine there from Scott Thompson. Kirk has been manning up, and there's a nice rip up by Jolly. 19 points to the margin. Scott Thompson just the 10 possessions to half time, coming off 30, 30, 30 and 30 plus possessions in the last 4 games, so they knew they had to stop him. Shaw to half forward, off hands, beats a couple. Jack, he ran into Goods in the end. O'Loughlin hasn't seen a lot of it. Barry Hall has. He's kicked 3, might line up for 4. Gives to Bolton, hands it off. The captain kicks a goal and sends it home. Perfect start, the Swans.
At the moment, I'm doing the house up, everything from the floorboards to the kitchen cupboards. It's just great to know that you can do it yourself and save that money.
10-piece screwdriver set, $19.89. 5-litre Nippon ceiling paint, $34.90. Bosch cordless drill, $98. 220-litre compost bin, $31.38. Door seal from $12.94.
All at the lowest prices.
Bunnings Warehouse! Lowest prices are just the beginning.
He's the footballer's footballer, Brett Kirk. And
good terminology, Dwayne, I think.
Turns 33 in October, but unlike Michael O'Loughlin, who is also 32 right now, Brett Kirk says he's got 1 more year in him, and in current form, he might even have more. Clearance finally for Kirk's man, Thompson, inside 50, and a very clever grab there for Kurt Tippett to kick the instant reply.
Well, that's their best play of the game so far, from a clearance in the middle of the ground, straight through with pace. Thompson looked up with a vision as a ball carrier would. Kurt Tippett leading in that vision and took a good contested mark.
7 goals, won a few weeks ago against Essendon. Only the 1 so far today. Big kick this. Margin stands at 25, the biggest lead of the game so far. And maybe touched on the line. No way, it's through. He's got 2.
Police training is tough.
But it's a picnic compared to real life on the beat.
He's attacked him with an axe.
Are they prepared for what lies behind this door?
Recruits, 8 o'clock Monday. TV hasn't been the same without him. How does he do it?
How does he get away with it?
How he solves this case.
Coolest thing ever.
House returns Wednesday on 10.
Rowan Smith.
Well, Dwayne, just before Kurt Tippett actually took that mark, he called the physio out. He's just struggling with a right shoulder problem at the moment, but certainly no problems there taking that mark. But Lewis Roberts-Thompson was just trying to get stuck into him as he called the physio out. Was just a little bit too worried about him, and then Kurt Tippett led and took the mark and kicked the goal, which was a good play.
Well watched, Smithy. Clearance for Adelaide again in their direction. And Tippett and Roberts-Thompson. Free kick to Tippett. Now, is this play on advantage? The umpire said advantage. No. Normally do that when it's 30 metres from goal, but Edwards kicks the goal regardless. Well,
a little bird told me that you love me, and I believe that you do.
Hold on to your money with Amy Flexi Premiums. Our new car insurance customers in Adelaide saved an average of $207.
Lucky you're with Amy.
captain today, Tyson Edwards, and with Andrew McLeod, the most games together of any AFL pair.
The other thing
too, outstanding. 287 of 319 games they've played together.
The other thing, just a long kick from that clearance too. Not a handball. Just kick the ball forward and see if you can win a contest.
Jude Bolton thrown off that. Edwards might get another chance here. Dowdy attacks it. Shoots it over the top to Knights. The Adelaide Crows hot at the moment. Inside 50 towards Tippett. Free kick. And it's free kick against Scott Stevens.
Holding the arm, Teddy Richards.
Okay, so Richards' ball.
It's very important for Adelaide they don't give away too many or too easier free kicks once they're in their forward 50 and allow Sydney to start running the ball out.
Margin back to 13 points as it stands now. Doughty sees it across the line, and for the first time in a long time, the Crows fans have found voice.
Well, they've got to get him involved in the game, don't they? Another goal would do that. Just getting that closer on the scoreboard. The emotions get up.
And virtually a full house here at Amy Stadium. Fantastic sight in the sunshine on the outer. We get another ball up in front of them. Seen the players a few times shielding their eyes from the sun. Look at that. Amy Stadium at its finest. Vince with the palm down. Goods hasn't had a big afternoon at the office, Adam Goods. Matner has been impressive. Likewise, Kirk. Made team for the 1-2-3 to Adam Goods, who's away here. And that's been the tale of his day. Just didn't quite bounce to him. High kick, half forward. Kieran Jack couldn't get there for the half volley. John Cock boots it off the deck. Bouncing ball in the midfield. Little push in the back, not paid there. Well, Douglas and the crowd thought it was his. Nick Smith into the back a little there.
Very lucky. Well, they weren't. It was a good play here by John Cock. We see the free kick just tripped over.
Yeah, fair enough.
Tripped over. Good initiative by John Cock. Sunk the boot because there was 3 Sydney players swooping on that 50 line.
Moran got the kick around the body to half forward. Crouch ducks out of the tackle and caught that ball.
Gee, Jared Crouch.
Lost a bit of his speed, sure.
No doubt. Last week was horrible.
Vince short, Stevens, very accurate kick too, Scott Stevens.
Well, much better kick by Vince, because in the first quarter, Shuri, what they were doing, turning that arc and then bombing the ball in, as we see. Had to get the handball out of there, Jared Crouch, but very good kick by Bernie Vince. Just looked up, had a bit of patience this time and got the kick to Scotty Stevens.
To pull the margin back to 7. They're white hot, the Crows.
Meet Bill. All cars come with service bills. Some come with surprisingly big bills. And they just seem to get bigger and bigger. Only Toyota can promise you little bills. You pay the same little bill service after service. It's Toyota's Service Advantage. You enjoy Toyota genuine service and a little bill. It's another reason why more Australians choose Toyota.
I just think they're kicking the ball forward quicker. That's all that's happened. They've cut down their handballs, number of handballs, and just delivering the ball without messing around and going as direct as possible. You love it as a forward. Adam Goods has gone back as a loose man in defence now behind play. Paul Roos is a bit worried about this onslaught at the moment.
Perfect bounce. Jolly and Moran won it down to McLeod. Caught by Crouch. Kick straight up in the air. I suppose they'll count it. Sure. Had it, slung, dropped it. Shirley, Vince. Thompson behind McKay, gets it back again. So a reward for his poor handball initially. Dowdy beaten for it by Brabazon. Hands up to Bird. Bouncing ball, turns it back over. Dowdy with the don't argue. They're away again here. Knights, we know can kick a long ball. Runs to 45. Make that 50. Kicked it long all the way. It's a 1-point game. Oh, he's just missed. He thought it was there. I thought it was there. The crowd thought it was there.
The crowd's even got you in, Dwayne.
6 points the margin.
That 19th man out there is very loud.
Goods goes wide. Richards over the top to Jack. Hands it back up. Goods chips it wide. And Jolly takes the mark. 47-41.
Barry Hall.
He's got the set. Up, and Bock wins out, thumps it across the line.
Isn't it amazing see how the Sydney Swans brought that ball out by hand? You can turn it. This has changed around. The style of play is direct opposite to what happened in the first half.
Back into play. McKay, Thompson, Moran, John Cock. All the momentum with Adelaide. Knights getting there. He's got 2 to beat here, Knights. Matner, Knights, Richards, the 2 beat the 1. Richards to Jolly. A little bit of silence again as the Swans own the ball to Grundy. Played 10 minutes third term. Grundy hugs the boundary and finds Jack. Little bump as he marked it, but no 50. In the shadows. Pokes it to Barlow. Too far out to score, you would think. Doesn't take the man on the mark on. The centering kick to come. Doesn't center it. Goes wide to O'Loughlin. And this will be possession number 10 for Michael O'Loughlin. Tucked in the boundary. He pops it up short, and Barry Hall will line up for number 4.
Well, they're arguing over there, the crowd. They thought that
10
was...
metres,
well,
or 15 metres.
Less than 15, but good little passage of play here for Sydney. They're just able to hold the momentum, and by doing that, they've just played keepies off. Just kept possession of the ball. Time is on their side. They need to go back now and get a score on the board from the work here.
To silence the crowd and kick his fourth across the face. A behind, lead out to 7 points. John Cock. Trusted as usual with the kick in. Van Berlo works his way into space. Thinks about going down the corridor. He's got Knights short. He ignores that. Now comes wide. Douglas in a one-on-one. And Crouch with the fist toward the line. Will get a ball in. A little bit of a lull as the Adelaide Crows make a double change. In fact, a triple change in the end. Walker, Symes and Dangerfield all coming off. Three coming off at the same time. Douglas, Thompson and Vince, the other one. Ball back in. Fresh man on, Dangerfield with the clearance. To Moran, to Symes, another fresh man. McLeod shrugged the tackle, hands off to Edwards. Takes them on. A fan to the open side. Otten. Tippett's direction, one-on-one, and marks it. Outmarks Robert Thompson with style. And he might be able to load up from there.
He's the big, tall target that has got him back into this game. He's presented and kicked that first goal by taking contested mark. That's his second contested mark. The second goal that was from the advantage onto Tyson Edwards, he crashed the pack. So his actually energy into the contest is first class at what you want from a big key forward.
Just his third kick coming up. He's kicked goals with his first two kicks. This to pull it back to a 1 point game, and that's ugly. Comes back off hands. Through for a behind. It's a 1-goal game. Adelaide Crows have had the lead in this game for a brief period halfway through the opening term by a behind. They led, whereas the Sydney Swans have led by as much as 25 on 2 occasions. 48 plays 42 now. Dangerfield, strong hands, takes them on, hands off, Van Berlo from 48, scores a level. As they say, beware the moments when you think you've got it all under control, and the Sydney Swans, late in their second term, look to have it under control. 25-point lead, but it's been virtually all Adelaide in this third term. And the ball up, Jude Bolton dives in. Dragged down, ball up.
Now, the Sydney Swans have got Heath Grundy and also Adam Goods as loose man in defence. They've just really stocked their defence. You're not going to score against this, so hopefully you can take control midfield and just keep possession of the ball instead of scoring. They're outnumbered forward, the Sydney Swans.
McLeod pounces, runs on, looks at the pass options, goes wide. Paul Pleasure was the man he was hoping for. Missed him completely in this. Just a light telling off.
Well, it was a good set play, third man up, and it was a big fist from the centre bounce. But Andy McLeod got in the right spot. Got to be mindful of covering the dangerous area.
And Jesse White down towards the boundary line and taken out by Nick Smith. So this game virtually starting all over again now. 48 apiece. 16 minutes gone, third term. Tippett, White steals, and the two Gold Coast boys in that ruck contest with basketball backgrounds showed their skills there. A little bit of class on show. Sun's been a problem for much of this game for teams kicking to the lake end. Thornton gets the hurry up and finds Hall. And not 50. Marich was a little untidy. Barry Hall gets the boos. But you would think he'd enjoy that by now. 250 games and been getting booed for about 249 of them. Richards.
He must enjoy Christmas when he's with his family and they all love him. Just, well, it happens to very good players over a period of time.
Probably booing just to make him feel good. Goods.
Over the turkey.
Boo their presents that they give them. Wide ball. Matner.
Today's game, it is amazing how just the inclination to do things differently has turned this game, as I said. Now it's the Sydney Swans keeping possession. It's played on the Adelaide Crows terms. Every Adelaide Crow player now is in the defensive half past the centre circle.
We saw those inside 50 stats. We flashed you as Barlow says this. 2-11s, Barlow and Dowdy. Ball out of play.
But Dwayne, just on those inside 50s as well, Adelaide's gone in 8 times and they've scored 6 of those. So they've scored 4 goals too. So their efficiency going inside the forward 50 has been great this quarter.
As opposed to the opening term where it was horrendous. Dangerfield having impact. And Grundy takes on Walker. Turnover. Paul Pleasure. He's got one-on-ones ahead. All the big sticks. Has another bounce. He thinks sticks. He puts them in front. They lead by a goal.
Well, sure.
Oh, lovely.
Awesome.
Oh, man.
Look at that. That's amazing. Yeah.
Fantastic.
29 goals, 5 for the season. Jason Pleasure. Ultra accurate and has to be an all-Australian contender. Biggest lead the Adelaide Crows have had for the game. They lead by 6. Jude Bolton. Swans with Crouch in the middle. No, their season's on the line here.
They're tackling a lot harder now.
Thompson up to Symes. Paul Pleasure. And he'll line up for number 4.
Well, it comes back to the short contested possession. Sydney were nearly on their way, but the gang tackling and the pressure by Adelaide has just risen by 100% from what we saw in the first half, and that's where they mustered a loose ball forward entry. Unfortunately, I think it was Bevan who slipped over, but playing in front with that pressure.
There was plenty of upside at half-time, wasn't there? Plenty of upside for the Adelaide Crows. You couldn't play as bad as that and, you know, do that in the second half, you wouldn't think, unless Sydney's pressure was fantastic.
His 5 goals were the difference last time these two teams met.
Oh.
And he misses an opportunity for number 4 here.
That goal before, though, that he kicked, a lot of players would have been panicking about what was coming from behind.
That's what I mentioned about the class.
Yeah, the class. He just had
Didn't
pause,
panic. They had 2 bounces.
And he slowed the last 3 steps to say, you know, I know what I'm doing here.
Matner wide. Richards really had to go. Dives and marks on the line. We're about to tick into time on 3rd term. Difficult ball to mark, and Adam Goods made it his. Sticks to the boundary. Barry Hall and Jolly went up. Barlow with the crumb. Michael O'Loughlin in the pocket. Plays on. Hands over the top unselfishly. And Brabazon nails the first goal of his career.
Well done, Mickey O'Loughlin.
Every consultant at Ashley & Martin has successfully completed our medical treatment program. They know what it feels like to lose hair. And they're proof that our regrowth treatment works. So call today and enjoy the confidence tomorrow.
It's going to be a big lift, Hank.
Yeah, that's a tender crisp. 100% chicken breast fillet, loaded up with bacon.
And cheese, Hank.
Oh, he's done it! Try the new cheesy bacon tender crisp. It's one serious chicken burger.
First of many you would hope for Ryan Brabazon. It's just game number 2 for the 22-year-old. Back to a 1-point game. In the blink of an eye, as Paul Pleasure could have made it a 2-goal lead. It's back to a 1-point margin. And we'll get another ball up in the middle.
Boys, you can just see Scotty McLaren just put on a little bit of block there from John Cock. What do you reckon, boys?
From the ball up, Marriage knocks it wide. Jude Bolton got a little bit of treatment as he kicked it. Ball in half forward for the Swans.
Just with that goal now, Adam Goods has gone from a loose man in defence into the forward line. So now he's got to be manned up by Nathan Van Berlo. And I think that's a good move, or even it looks like it might be Bernie Vince. It's a good move because you can outmark both of those players.
Close to the boundary again and taken out. Adelaide Crow defence was awesome a couple of weeks ago here. Kept North Melbourne to 3 goals, 6 for the game, and that was, in the end, a defining moment for Dean Laidley because his career was over straight after that horrible performance and loss. So far today, the Swans have kicked 8. And at the moment, Sydney Swans a chance to get their season going again. 55-54, 1-point game. Swans try to break a 3-game losing streak. The ball up. Symes straight up in the air. Play on, as you heard. Dangerfield headed that on to Van Berlo. Bouncing ball. Stevens edged out of it legally. Mattner peels back. Walker attacks him. Good tackle. Put him under pressure. No prior opportunity there. Ball up.
Gee, they're picked up in that area, Jacko.
Well, they needed
pressure,
to. They've been very good, and that's what's got them back into the game. Their work rate and their pressure, especially at contested situations, at stoppages. Sydney were just able to get too many clearance with so much ease. In this quarter, it's been the reversal.
Jolly. Palm down, but not decisively. And Moran, the opposite ruckman, gets the clearance to Vince. Just a pop pass. Taylor Walker, Grundy got back.
Well done.
Body on the line there. Hobbling a little. Roberts Thompson. Knights. Oh, a little slip. That's all it took.
I think that was Marty Mattner. Was it Dwayne behind play when he took that mark, and he's got a corky, I think, out of it. Yeah, Grundy's just gone up and said, well done. Isn't that great? Gee, that's leadership, a little bit of leadership in itself, knowing your teammate put his body on the line for you.
Moran almost had it. O'Keefe likewise. Boundary looming. Umpire Hayden Kennedy to sort it out. A little bit of a lull at the moment. Dangerfield. Another contender for this year's Rising Star Award, nominated earlier this year. Ball close to the line. Kirk keeps it alive. Brabazon. Kirk back to Brabazon. And pushed out of it, Adam Goods' ball.
Well, that's that problem about giving height away, isn't it? You're worried about the one-on-one giving about 4 inches. And Nathan Van Berlo, not a great kick.
Brabazon mops up the mess, heads wide.
That's not a great kick.
And makes another mess himself. The ball in, a few more seconds roll off the clock. Yet to play in a win. Ryan Brabazon, after making his debut in the round 18 game against the Dogs last year. Canberra loss. Van Berlo. Symes. Turnover, you'd think, almost, but not quite. The grab for Mattner. Forced to lay a tackle. Poor pleasure, toe poke. And another ball in. A real stalemate at the moment.
Patrick Dangerfield's been used in a different role today. He's been on ball for a while, pushing up from a half-forward flank, playing out of the forward 50, where he's been fairly dangerous most of this season.
He's only had the 8 possessions, so they'd probably try a different role, get him in the forward line, paired with Jason Paul-Pleasure, because he can kick a goal.
And on cue, it gives away a free kick for grabbing Jude Bolton. It'll be a long quarter. We've played more than 25 minutes already. 5 and some change to go. Grundy. Nick Smith. Another player yet to play in a win. Nick Smith. It's game number 4. A wobbler. And it's come off. Richards takes them on. Thornton hands it up. Jack Vespremi dumped.
Oh, you cannot. I thought the umpire was going to get hold of it. One thing's happened also. I think Richard Douglas has had control of Reece Shaw in the last 7 or 8 minutes, so he hasn't been able to run
Only
free off
two possessions with his quarter.
Yeah, so he's done a good job, Richard Douglas. Hasn't scored, though.
Close to 40,000 here at Amy Stadium on the edge of their seats at the moment. Crucial 4.5 minutes coming up to three-quarter time. As we mentioned earlier, barely a spare seat in the house here, as there so often is for Adelaide Crow games, and that's why they're making the stadium a little bigger. Forced to build on. Jude Bolton, a wide ball. Doughty will get there first. No, he won't. Ball in.
What's that capacity going to be, Dwayne? Do you know?
Well, there is talk that the Adelaide Crows could get 50,000 members within the next year and a half. So the trouble is they don't have that number now because they can't squeeze them all in. So build it and they will come, they say with Adelaide. Build a 70,000 and they might get 70,000. Free kick here. And it's going to go to Bernie Vince. Of course, Port Adelaide talking about playing home games at Adelaide Oval, and they believe if they get that allowance, fans will come there. McLeod wide. Good build up this. McKay to Otten. Barry Hall coming at him. Split him open earlier in the game. Heads wide and the turnover. Roberts Thompson had a big piece of it. Not played the mark.
Gee, that was well done by Barry Hall. He didn't overcommit, so he just put down in the line, didn't he? Forced him down the line, corralling the midfield as such.
And sure, you've mentioned Adelaide's pressure. They had 18 tackles in the first half. They've had 14 in this quarter so far. And down here at boundary level, it's really been evident.
Barry Hall, 3 goals in the opening half, none since.
You're both playing on top of him. He's got no hope of getting that out.
Palmer McLaren and some commentary work for us. Thumps that into the turf. McKay tried to steal it. Kirk. Free kick against Kirk. Goes to Thompson. It's been a good battle. Edwards. Van Berlo. Players peeling on the open side. Heads wide. Precise kick. And a clever grab. Unbelievable grab, Bernie Vince.
He's had this wing to himself.
Knights pushed off it on the lead. Paul Pleasure cut off. Bernie told to get on with it. Throws it up there. Taylor Walker goes up. Can't bring it down. O'Keefe had an arm free. Kirk ducked into the tackle. Gets away with it. Paul Pleasure can't get a snap away. Knights gets it up. Van Berlo. He misses
everything
on the full.
I'll tell you what, Nathan Van Berlo and Bernie Vince, they are just running free at the moment, but Vince is the one. He looks like he's playing out on the wing just as a loose man, hanging back and linking up beautifully.
Goods. And big Adam Goods leap. Needs a breather after that. Classic Goods. Good to play on. Pops it up in hope. O'Loughlin forced to fly. Hasn't quite got the lift of old. Kirk, boundary line his friend. Ball in. 1 point the margin. Adelaide Crows coming in 7th spot on the ladder, hoping to push their way up toward the top 4. Sydney Swans currently 11th, hoping to get back amongst the contenders with a win. Paul Pleasure can't mark. Crouch can't crumb. 2 minutes from three-quarter time.
Well, I think Sydney will be happy with this onslaught. They're only 1 point behind, so they can set themselves for the last quarter. Don't concede another goal here, and they're right in this game, considering they've been very much outplayed in this third quarter.
Jumping tackle by White. Oh, too high. McKay's ball.
6 goal to 1 term, just to hold, stem the tide probably in the last, 8 minutes, 10 minutes. They've done that pretty well, Sydney.
Throws it up long. Walker pushed out of that contest. Tipper with a big leap. McLeod, he couldn't, could he? Don't tell me. Ridiculous.
Well, some...
A little bird told me that you love me, and I believe that you do.
Hold on to your money with Amy Flexi Premiums. Our new car insurance customers in Adelaide saved an average of $207.
Lucky you're with Amy.
Come to the top.
Game 317 for the one and only Andrew McLeod. Having a joke with Jared Crouch.
Jared saying, how'd you kick that one, son? Where did that come from?
Give me space more and I'll show you. That's what he said.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me a bit more space.
Dangerfield with 1.5 minutes on the clock to Edwards. Wrapped up by Shaw. Back to Dangerfield. Strengthen the core and some speed. Short pass. Stevens not quite. Dangerfield. This would be a classic. Dragged down. Roberts Thompson. Goods. Heads wide. Jolly. He might be content to mop up the last minute here. Wide ball. John Cock can't get there. Barlow the mark.
How good was Patrick Dangerfield? And that was just sensational play. Strength, as you said, in the core, Dwayne. Kept his feet at the contest 3 times then.
Short pass to Thornton. Yeah, when they drafted Dangerfield, picked 10 back in 2007, ahead of Brad Ebert in the draft, there was cries of outrage here in Adelaide, but no cries of outrage anymore. Shaw. Roberts Thompson. Bevan. 7-point lead to the Crows. Down to 20 seconds. Richards. Short pass. Barry Hall not paid. A decisive decision there from Hayden Kennedy. He was on the spot, saw it hit grass.
And Barry tried to bluff him out of it.
Tell you what, Scotty Stevens be happy because he's left his man on the wing and allowed that over-the-top kick where he should have just allowed, stay with his man and kept the pressure or get the pressure from behind.
Marriage down and barring a free kick. It's three-quarter time here. It's a free kick, but it's to Adelaide. Three-quarter time at Amy. And he's been reported, Barry Hall, for striking. Barry Hall has been reported for striking. We know he's been booked many a time before. Clawing, kneeing, headbutting, charging. He's had the lot. He's got the full deck.
Well, we spoke about it at half-time, the good Barry Hall and the bad Barry Hall. There was no need for this. If it is, we'll just have a look again, see how much is in this. Just trying to get up. Just a slap. What do you think, Jacko? Go on, go with it.
Here we go.
It's in the face.
Is it a fist? Is it open?
It's in the face.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Stupid.
Silly.
You just can't do it.
No. You can't. Why do it? I mean, he's had a fantastic game. He's led by the front. He's had a fantastic first half, kicked 3 goals, and now an undisciplined act like that.
Well, we've still got a game here.
He knows it too.
Oh, boy. He was suspended for 9 games last year in total, so his record won't help him. Big last term coming up. Adelaide by 7.
The clock's ticking for the reigning premiers. Tonight on 10, the Hawks are out to get their mojo back when they clash with the Eagles. West Coast Hawthorn, 8:30 tonight on 10.
Discount City Carpets, your one-stop for floor coverings. One stop for the best laminate floor on the market by Armstrong. Can you tell the difference from real timber? Discount City Carpets. Discount prices every day.
Okay, once more round. Beat this poser. 3 laps to go.
Keep running.
Make it home, make it home, make it home. Is that Adam Goods? Catch up. September.
Powerade Isotonic. Perform at your peak for longer. Powerade. The power to reach your goal. Get a classic quarter, Tropicana or classic roast combo at Red Rooster right now. And you'll also get a serve of piping hot apple bites. Dinner's done and dessert's on us. But you gotta be quick and it's gotta be red.
Here's a very special offer from Panasonic. Buy a selected full high-definition Viera plasma and you'll get a large cardboard box for the kids to play with. Oh, for a limited time, you'll also get a bonus Wii for Mum and Dad to enjoy. Until the kids find out about it. Good luck.
That's just un-Australian.
Yeah, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, boys, we're on.
Good luck, Scotty.
Got any smooth Bundy red rum?
No, we're a bourbon bar, and rum ain't smooth.
Lucky we brought our own then.
Damn, that is smooth. You can't bring it in here.
Why not? You're BYO, right?
New red gum filtered Bundy Red. The rum's so smooth, even bourbon drinkers will go for it.
Loosen up, mate.
What makes the perfect grab? Timing? Focus? Or just taking it with both hands? The Whopper, official burger of the AFL.
Discount City Carpets, your one-stop for thousands of rugs and runners at real prices. All colours, designs and styles. Rugs and runners at real prices. Discount City Carpets. Discount prices every day.
When Frank Woodley, Tim Ferguson and Kitty Flanagan join the Good News Week team, it's bound to lead to one thing.
Champagne! Call me McDermott, champagne!
8:30 Monday on 10.
The 2009 Toyota AFL Premiership season, brought to you by the 200-kilowatt Toyota Orient V6. Stratco, you'll save time and money when you do it right the first time, so do it Stratco. The SA team at Radio Rentals, saving South Australia since 1958. Bunnings Warehouse, where lowest prices are just the beginning. Amy, lucky you're with Amy. And the Whopper, official burger of the AFL.
Dangerfield having impact, and Grundy takes on Walker. Turnover, Paul Pleasure. He's got one-on-ones ahead, all the big sticks. Has another bounce. He thinks sticks. He puts them in front. They lead by a goal. Three-quarter time at AAMI Stadium. Joining us for the first time, where do we start? Sydney did lead by 25 points. The Adelaide Crows lead by 7 points. Now Barry Hall has been reported in his 250th game. How appropriate's that? Let's head downstairs to Rowan Smith.
Thanks very much, Dwayne. Well, the biggest difference in that third quarter from Adelaide was their ability to get their ball inside 50, and they went with a smaller forward line. They had Paul Pleasure up there, they had Knights, they had Douglas, and even Andrew McLeod right there at the end, just roving off the pack and kicking a sensational goal. And they're going with that small forward line again in this last quarter, boys.
And also to that, Shorey, was the ability, the clearances. They won the clearances really well.
Here's Barry Hall again. Now we show you this one more time because there are AFL rules governing how often. There you go.
Yeah, gee, it wasn't a lot in it, but you cannot do that on the ground. And look, Ben Rutten looks at him and says, what the hell was that? How stupid was that? It was more in just amazement than what pain, I would think.
We're not allowed to show you that again until post-match, but don't worry, we'll show you again in the wrap-up. It may have an impact on who wins and loses this one. O'Keefe, as we start this final term, Matner, he dives in. Douglas gets the kick away. Shirley, bouncing ball. Dangerfield, Matner, game tackled, hits the deck. He was having a pretty good game too, Barry Hall. 3 goals.
He had a fantastic first half. Very disciplined first half. 3 goals, as you mentioned.
He can still win the game for him.
Well, what he's got to do is now focus for the next 30 minutes and reproduce the same form he had in that first half and forget about the incident, because the incident now will look after itself on Monday night.
That's true, but Barry Hall's whole future is a worry now. He's not going to be remembered for some of the great things in his career. He's going to be, in some respects, remembered for that punch that felled Brent Staker last week by many in Perth, last year I should say. 7 weeks he got for that last year, but he also missed a week last year for Shane Wakeland and missed another week for a club suspension that was imposed on him because they said that his mental state wasn't correct for playing AFL footy.
And I tell you what, the mental state of these midfielders at the moment in the first minute of this quarter has been sensational because the ball has moved 5 metres. It's had 2 or 3 ball ups and it's been tackle after tackle, Dwayne. So this is up for grabs. I still believe Barry Hall could be the hero here for the Sydney Swans.
Moran knocked it down. Stolen by Kirk. Kick smothered. McKay goes back. Vince spears the pass in the Tippett direction. Goes up and got it.
Beautiful kick.
That's a genuine classy grab that. And he may be within range. Pops it up instead. High kick. Stevens is down there. 1-on-2. Ball dumped by Matner. Stevens got a kick on it. Ricochets. Bevan. Scooped up. Roberts Thompson. Handball from Jolly Poor. Poor pleasure. No prior opportunity. Ball up.
Kurt Tippett took a great mark and we sung his praises about his ability to take contested mark. Got back, but then he kicked the ball up and under. And I don't think it was to the advantage of Stevens. Probably could have backed himself and gone back and had a shot on goal or find another inside target 15, 20 metres away from him.
Tippett down again. Poor pleasure. Tackled by Goods. Got a handball up. Jolly fell. Douglas stolen from him by O'Keefe. Shaw. Roberts Thompson. It's a tight, hard contest. Finally some space. Shaw runs into space, hits to Barlow, marks.
Well, he had to go there because down the ground there was not one Sydney Swan player free, and there's a wall of Adelaide Crows. And here's Marty Matner. Oh, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there, just waiting for the contact. Didn't take his eye totally off the ball.
John Cobb.
Going to take them.
Otten, Doughty, Rutten, Short, Shirley, McLeod, Otten, and wide to Knights. And a big contest this. First up wins it. Knights. The scoop up. And the spear pass toward Moran and Thompson. Moran did well there, caught him in. Bok to the open side. Tippett on the move, got it. Might have a shot this time from 50.
He's the man, Jacko. He is the man. The third quarter.
Well, he's been their direction. They're key to go through. They've directed a lot of the footy, all their footy in the second half through him, and he's imposed himself. He's taking marks on the lead and as well as in a contested situation. Now he needs to finish off his good work and kick a couple of more goals.
He's had 4 possessions, all kicks. He's kicked 2 goals, 1. It's to the near side. Hasn't got the carry, thumped through. This is Adelaide's biggest lead of the game, 8 points. If you have joined us late, Swans led by as much as 25. Their season is on the line, Sydney. In 6 full seasons under Paul Roos, they have never missed the finals. Matner thumps it along. Moran flies and front spot O'Keefe. Solid as always. Not 15. Kirk. Back to O'Keefe. McLeod about to shut down. Crouch was solid there. Held his ground. Roberts Thompson. Played 5 minutes final term. Goods. Tucked up against the line. Now he bombs it. O'Loughlin the target. Lost his man Otten.
Gee, he did that well. He made out that the ball was a lot further away and faked to the inside and then just came back at the ball and Otten just fell for it.
The Sydney Swans games record holder, game 294 today, and he elects to pass to Barry Hall. Didn't go for the hero kick, Mickey O. And Barry Hall will line up for number 4.
Well, he spent Barry Hall because he did 3 or 4 repetitive leads, and that was very good. He kept his work rate up. There wasn't many avenues or spaces for Michael O'Loughlin to kick into, but Barry was patient, and here's a chance for himself to get his mindset back into the game and, more importantly, reduce the margin for Sydney.
Well, I say he cost them the game against Hawthorn with 3 50s. Can he win them the game today? Not with kicks like that. Behind.
Just got to keep presenting because he's been very effective for him in that first half. Just keep presenting and it'll come for him.
John Cobb. It's a 7-point game. Straight down the middle. Knights with the fly. O'Keefe the fist. Matner took too long. Got it out. No free. Jack ducked into that tackle. Well played, Knights. Up to Moran. Caught. Good tackle. Goods. Bock. Thompson. Some poise here. Moran. Been good today. Knights. He takes them on to McLeod. He's got John Cock out wide. Ignores it. Goes long. Tippett in a 1-on-2. And he beats them both.
Well done, Andrew McLeod. Could have handballed out to John Cock out wide, but what he did, he thought, I'm going to keep this ball into the corridor, and he's gone to the man who he said could win this game, Tippett. He's just thrown Roberts Thompson around in the second half of this game. Just a big body. Gee, he's improved as a player.
He has, and when you get a player like that that's in a bit of form, the defender, with the pace of the ball coming in off an Andy McLeod kick, it makes life very difficult for a key defender.
That's what he has ahead of him. He misses. Sydney Swans breathe a sigh of relief. It's an 8-point game. The equal biggest lead Adelaide has had. Matner again bangs it up in the Jolly direction. Doughty, Moran are all there. Thompson feeds it back. Shirley plays in the middle. Douglas the target. Shaw with him. Wins with a fist. Kirk. Solid as ever at half-back.
Michael O'Loughlin.
Jack to Goods to O'Loughlin. Bouncing ball. Gets there. Scoops it up. Grundy forced to wait. Back to O'Loughlin. Short pass. Barry Hall gets there.
Oh, Brett Kirk, take your hat off, because he was the one who won the 50-50, got himself in that contest and got the clear hands out. After that, they went the length of the ground on that outer side wing and just kept the ball alive. Michael O'Loughlin was free. His direct opponent left him, and on the counter, here's an opportunity. They need to hurt Adelaide, because Kurt Tippett should have kicked the goal. Here's a chance for Barry Hall.
It's been a mixed bag from Barry today. Been good Barry, been bad Barry. Back to good Barry. He's got 4. And it's a 2-point game.
Welcome to Amy.
Oh, hello, Amy.
Oh, hi, Amy.
I've had an accident. I'm on the freeway. Big blackbirds.
They just sort of landed on me. They've damaged my bag. Beady eyes.
They're attracted to my car.
Went into the back of me and he
I think they love my car.
Some things are hard to explain.
Global warming, exactly, yeah.
At Amy, you'll always speak to a real person.
Am I covered for something like that?
Lucky you're with Amy.
(9-9 to 9-7). Getting down to the pointy end of the season now. Round 13. 7th versus 11th. Anybody's game. Jack. The scoop up. Shaw. Almost kicked that backwards. Douglas, Edwards. Douglas picks it up. Takes on O'Keefe. Wrap-around tackle. Shirley taken out. Ball in. And they love Robert Shirley, the crowd here. Been a survivor, an outstanding survivor. Drafted 3 times by Adelaide. Pick 67, 99, pick 53, 2002, and then dumped and relisted on the rookie list, Robert Shirley. And again, he's been a big contributor today. 16 possessions. We see another tackle laid and another arm or wing tackle on Nick Smith. Ball up. Moran slapped down. Douglas in the side according to the umpire. Now Shaw jumped on. Douglas gets it up. Van Berlo inside 50. Ted Richards held his ground. He can rush it. And that's allowed according to the umpires now. We thought for a while those were going to be paid deliberate, but under that sort of pressure, it's okay to run it through. And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, good awareness of what pressure was going to come to him, didn't he? So, well thought through then.
Umpires have been lecturing the players on that rule to take any grey area out of it. Goods and McLeod. Moran.
Did that well.
McLeod over the top. Big kick coming up here. Paul Pleasure scoops it back. Edwards inboard. Kick a ball. Kicks around, but he squeezed it in.
At NAB, we can help you choose a home loan with options that will best suit you now and in the future. Want to split your loan between fixed and variable rates? Or would you prefer a discount on both fixed and variable rates? Or is making savings across all of your banking with NAB for one annual package fee more your style? Why choose? Have it all with NAB Choice Package. It's what your money would do. Call 13 13 12 to find out how.
Captain today, and it's a 9-point lead to Adelaide.
And the Swans, Dwayne, have pushed Adam Goods forward at the moment. I'm not too sure if he's going to go deep or not, but he's definitely inside 50, so they're trying to put a match winner up forward for them.
Yeah, I like that, Smithy. You've got to win the game now, and he might kick the 2 goals to do that for you.
Down to Bird, almost dispossessed. Back to Shaw, under some pressure. Kick to half forward. Grabbers on. Held up. Biggest lead that Adelaide has had. 9 points.
Contested possessions for this quarter, 15 Adelaide, 8 to Sydney.
Loads up to Barry Hall, can't get there. Vince with the dive. Millimetres from the turf.
No weight on the kick. They just need a bit more weight on the kick.
And too wide, wasn't it? Like you go on the angle of 45 degree, not straight across the ground to turn it over.
Doughty, not 15. McKay. Rutten. Sticks to the boundary. Stevens, one-on-one. Ted Richards, Kirk, Thompson, boundary line. Kirk appeals to the free. Nothing doing. 70 plays 61. Had Michael O'Loughlin, who announced his retirement at the end of this season during the week, in front of about 50-odd family members here at his old home ground today, not having the best day of it. Stevens lost it towards Bird. He can't trap it. Ball in there somewhere. Umpire will sort it out. Barry Hall making himself felt again.
Nah, nothing in that. Come on.
Why would you go? Why would you go there?
I reckon he'd commit the great train robbery if we go with that far.
Has got some form though. Vince. Around the body towards Stevens. Richards wraps him up. A little bit of a stalemate in the last few minutes. 14 minutes gone, final term. Crows a fantastic chance to set their season up here. Their next 2 games against Richmond and Fremantle. 2 teams down the bottom end. Ball caught in the pack. So a win here would make it 5 in a row, with Richmond at Carrara next week and then Fremantle back here at Amy Stadium the week after.
I think it's time. I think it's time for Sydney Swans to roll the dice on Darren Jolly to see the game out now, because his clearance work could be the difference. They've got to get him on the ground and try and see this game out.
Kirk to Bolton, but it was cut off by McKay. Edwards back towards McLeod, gets a Shepherd, takes on Jude Bolton, a 360 as he was slung. Chip backwards toward Bock, it comes off. He got one from Grundy, and 50.
That's return.
He did this last week. Nathan Bock, he kicked a decisive goal against North Melbourne that helped the Crows get home. He is a very accurate kick. He hasn't missed one this year, and he'll line up from 45.
Let's have a look at it.
Well, goes for the mark, and just a clip across it.
Just a clip.
Come on, Jacko, don't sit on the fence. What do you think? Just a free kick? Just
no, it was a clip. He just reached out.
Or a 50-metre penalty?
Free kick,
late,
that's
it?
Yeah. No 50. Oh, no, Scotty. You're taking it beyond it now.
They're a little gun shy at the moment.
Yeah, they are. They just scratched his eye. And you've got to make out that it's harder than what it is anyway to try and milk it.
I mean,
50 metre.
Effectively, this 55. Try and get a 55.
No, you get your 50, but he could have stood up and just said, no, I've got a poke in the eye.
Adelaide have not led by double figures today.
Massive kick here.
They lead by 9. This to make it 15 as we edge towards time on. 17 gone on the clock. Nathan Bock has been front page all week. He can be back page tomorrow. Kicks at goal.
Pushed it.
And misses.
His eyesight. Couldn't see the goals properly.
Saw 3 balls.
10-point game. Matner. Tough ball for a youngster to mark, and Nick Smith in game 4 can't grab it. And we'll get a ball in. But of all the players to go to, you go to a player of that experience from the kick in. Back into play. Tippett ripped it out of the air, got the kick away, and it's wide. Scrapes in for a behind.
But in saying that, players have got to be aware, make that split decision knowing, look, I'm not going to mark this ball. I'm not going to have any rule effect. What I can do is probably just hold him up and not give the penalty away. So Grundy, he had to make a better decision there and penalise the side.
Roberts Thompson gave that
holding the ball
to his own man who was on the deck. Did he have prior opportunity when he was given it?
Oh, yes.
He was on his knees.
No,
his own man gave it back to him.
I'm telling you what, this is Teddy Richards under pressure, making horrible mistakes. Made a number of them last week. He put his teammate under pressure, and then they both tried to con the umpires. But have a look at that. They are holding it in, saying, OK, we're in each other's way. That is a great decision by the umpire.
I'm with you, Shorey.
That's the old con job, Dwayne.
That's a team free, though, isn't it? He put it under his own teammate.
Just under pressure. Marty Matner's made a few mistakes in the last quarter. Teddy Richards on that occasion.
The ultra-reliable for goal number 4. The man who never misses. The man for the moment.
Relax and unwind on an unforgettable holiday with all the comforts of home.
Who would have thought a place this great was so affordable? It's exactly what we needed.
Yeah, and everything we've spent has added value to our home. Here you go.
Under a Stradco Outback, every day will feel like you're on holiday.
Hi, Henry.
So contact Stradco or an authorised veranda patio dealer and holiday Outback. Do it now.
Go.
He's a gun. It's his second chance, Jason Pleasure. He was on the rookie list back in 2003, but delisted. Redrafted in 2006 pre-season. And what an inclusion he's been. He could be the difference again today. The Swans are on the ropes here. Oh, good handball by Ves Primi. Got it to Jude Bolton under pressure. Van Berlo, John Cock. Crows are away. They can smell victory now. Symes, wide. Matner. Hoping to inspire his team against his old team. Heads long. Adam Goods. Big fisto from Bock. Out of play.
Good discipline there by Bock. Had a chance of taking the mark here. Usually would back himself in, but knows the game is still there in the balance and they want to close it out now. Good discipline, good sport.
Symes to McKay. Time on their side now, Adelaide. 8 minutes remaining. From 5 wins in a row it'll be. And the mark to Grundy. No one to go to free. Turnover again. Doughty. Knights. Edwards. Knights. They know they've got them covered now. Long kick. Poor Pleasure again. Half volley or a mark. Take your pick. He's away. Spears the pass. Awesome. Dangerfield for the knockout blow.
Well, we're in awe of him up here because we're just clapping what Jason Pleasure was able to do. It wasn't the best kick coming in, and to pick it up on the half volley and still keep his momentum and pace. Look, there goes the big long kick trying to get it. He comes forward, picks it up on the half volley, and then just turns him inside there. Paul Bevan, he wasn't able to keep up with him. But then the kick to Dangerfield. He could have blazed away and just put it up, but he just waited the kick so he would run onto it, not the ball come at 100 miles an hour to him. A fantastic kick, fantastic player.
17 points the margin to make it 23. It's a wobbler. He's missed.
They've let themselves down the goal kicking today, Adelaide. They've been pretty good the last couple of weeks.
Paul Roos coaching from the bench. They're 3 goals from being level to Sydney Swans. Richards. And their whole season might come down to this 6 minutes. Along the line, Goods. To the midfield. Best Premier and Jolly got in their way. Bird missed the target. Poor Pleasure doing it at both ends. McKay scoops it up, gets it back.
Great skills.
Otten wide. Stevens is free. Looks at the pass options. Puts it up to the square. Big fly, no mark from Walker. Roberts Thompson. Gibber home would have been handy there. Oh, a goal will do. She's over. Van Berlo with the killer.
Every consultant at Ashley & Martin has successfully completed our medical treatment program. They know what it feels like to lose hair. And they're proof that our regrowth treatment works. So call today and enjoy the confidence tomorrow.
It's going to be a big lift, Hank.
Yeah, that's a tender crisp. 100% chicken breast fillet, loaded up with bacon.
And cheese, Hank.
Oh, he's done it! Try the new cheesy bacon tender crisp. It's one serious chicken burger.
And what about Dwayne? Everyone not even basically paying attention to Nathan Van Berlo, who kicked the goal. Everyone just went over to Patrick Dangerfield, picked him up off the ground. It was terrific by the Crows.
From the ball up, free kick.
They're just dominating the clearances, Adelaide. Their work rate, their stoppage work, and the ability to work each other has been fantastic.
Thompson to Doughty, sends it long. Tip it again. Big piece of it. Stevens to the pocket.
Well, you kick this.
Douglas tucked in, unselfish. Knights one way, then the other. Back to Douglas. Symes. He gets the kick away to the square. Bevan with the big fist. And Nick Smith towards Goods. And you can sense the hope is gone for Sydney now. Van Berlo. And he misses.
I tell you who's played a big part in this last quarter. Ivan Maric at those clearances. He's got his hands on the tap. I think they just had Darren Jolly off the ground too long, the Sydney Swans, and now he's lost the flow of play. But Maric has been brilliant for the Adelaide Crows.
Shaw, play on advantage. Roberts Thompson. Richards. Not a lot to go to. Heads long. Barry Hall got there late. Spoil. Jude Bolton.
He's got to get it to him.
O'Keefe long. Hannah Lachlan can stroll in and kick the goal. He misses.
Oh, his family won't be happy with that, Dwayne. 50 of them here today.
Tale of the day.
Well, I think he took the right option to play on.
Then kick it along the ground.
Just kick it along the ground because he knew that he needed to do that. Take the pressure out of going back, and obviously the crowd booing him, but be disappointed because he's made a living of doing that type of play, kicking goals like that.
Rutten. McLeod. There'll be 5 wins in a row for Adelaide. And they're chasing a top 4 spot. Just the bomb to half forward, Shaw. Matner. Barlow, Matner. Sticking to the line. Smith. Jack takes them on. John Cock. Ball up. Crouch from 50. Sends it long. Touched on the line or a goal. It's cut back to 17.
3 days only. Harvey Norman's massive half-yearly clearance goes hardcore. Savings like up to 30% off outdoor furniture, up to 40% off lounges and dining, up to 40% off bedding ensembles, up to 25% off bedroom furniture, up to 20% off laptops and desktops, up to 30% off multifunctions and GPS, up to 20% off plasmas, LCDs and small appliances, up to 15% off white goods. 3 days only, ends this weekend at Harvey Norman.
3 goals, 3 minutes is the equation. Barry Hall off. A pat on the back from Paul Roos. A disappointed Barry Hall in game 250. From the ball up. Jolly, Kirk, Barlow, cut off, Crouch, gets it up, Jack, caught, got it out, Kirk, sends it high, no haul down there, O'Loughlin, John Cock. Smith bumped off it, McLeod did well, Doughty, Thompson, Bock, Edwards, need to take some time off the clock, high kick, Otten, sat under it, McKay. Still taking it on. 3 minutes left. Rutten. Called to play on, not 15. Back again. Vince. He's got the option wide. Heads there. Knight slips. Smith. Shaw. Barlow. Jack. Shaw. They haven't given it up. 3 goals unanswered in there in front. Goods. Well, he played on outside the boundary. He's allowed to do it. Centering kick through Jude Bolton. Bounces. Bolton. Brabazon. Is it in the back? No. Play on.
Gee, they've done some sacrificial acts, Adelaide, in this last quarter.
Paul Pleasure towards Tippett. Down to 2 minutes now. Tippett inboard. Douglas about to get crunched. Matner down, Shaw missed it, Douglas, another sacrificial act, wrapped up, still got it, keeps it in, Knights, ball up.
Well, you have to go back to Adam Goods. I don't think he's allowed to do that because he's played on outside, so he's changed, now he's changed his angle. That is a ball in, that is a throw in, because he's changed his angle outside the boundary line. Umpire missed it on that occasion, didn't pay against the Adelaide Crows though.
Goods. Takes them on. Edwards wrapped up. Ball up. 85 to 68. It'll be 5 on the trot for Adelaide.
Dwayne, we can see Brad Moran just limped from the field there, just holding the back of his left knee. So the physios have just checked him out, so you would think that he's not going to take any further part of the game.
Great smother by Scotty Thompson on that clearance end. Gee, the Adelaide Crows second half, their tackling and pressure, as you said, Jack, has been brilliant. Yep. And unselfish acts. And that was just a desperation. Even though you think the game's really in their hand, just desperation right to the end of this quarter.
And you grow a greater respect for each other as a team as you grow, as this side is. Once you grow as a team, those things become second nature, and then you become what the 2 best teams in the competition are at the minute, Geelong and St Kilda. They do it second nature.
That tap down again. Jude Bolton with the clearance. And the wraparound tackle on Smith. White, I should say, can't break free. Thornton sends it to full forward. O'Loughlin down there, off hands. Oh. And he's rushed that well.
Well done.
16 points the margin of Moran. Here.
Centre context. Yeah. Just jarred it, hyperextended a bit for the right knee. Coming down there. Just hope it's just a bit of jarring. It'll be okay to play again next week.
Vince takes them on through half back. Has a bounce.
He's been good, especially in the second
sensational.
half.
So too Thompson in the second half, ball out.
Yeah, those midfielders who were very quiet early, Vince, Doughty, Van Berlo.
McKay, even in this last quarter, in the second half, McKay's had an influence.
His poise is brilliant, McKay.
Barrett with the palm down and a little in the back. It's there. Van Berlo. 2 goals today, both in the second half. 25 points down the Crows. McKay, Vince. The cream starting to rise to the top on the AFL ladder. The Adelaide Crows contenders in 2009. 5 wins in a row for the Adelaide Crows. A 16-point victory at home.
Well, they'd be very happy with this win because they got challenged. They were very slow off the blocks in the first half. Credit to Sydney, they come to play, a couple of milestones, and to Adelaide, while the professional outfit that they are, they weren't happy with that first half performance, went back in at half time and reassessed where they're at. And just their work rate after half time, they started winning a lot of the contested possessions and just put that scoreboard pressure. One of the notable deficiencies in that first half was their kicking efficiency. They just weren't hitting targets at all. And then, just like a light switch, Tony, they were able to turn it on, and they were fantastic in that second half. A lot to like about that performance because the last 4 weeks has been very good. But when you get challenged and you're able to fight back from a little bit of adversity, which they did have, and a very formidable Sydney, you know what you're going to get with the Sydney Swans. That was great work. And so we go down to the boundary line. Rowan, who we got down there?
Thanks, Jago. I've got Nathan Van Berlo with me. Well, Nath, you knew that Sydney were going to come at you. They did, and you just played an outstanding second half.
Yeah, we always know that's what we're going to get with Sydney, and today was no different. First half, we were second to the footy, and they beat us well and truly in the contested footy, and came out in the second half, and I thought the boys played really well to respond in the way that we did.
Something that has been evident over the last probably 4 weeks and today has been the run from the back line. That wasn't there in the first half. Was that spoken about at half time?
Yeah, it was. I think run all over the ground. We need to lift our work rate and also get in first to the footy, and the boys responded in the second half, and yeah, great win today.
Can you put down the slow start to having last week off, maybe?
Oh, no, not at all. I'm not sure why we had the slow start, but hopefully we can rectify that for next week and have a full 4 quarters.
What did Neil say to you at half time?
Basically, what you pointed out, it was work rate and contested footy. We need to get on top in that area because the stats were killing us, and it's pretty evident out here that was what was hurting us. So, boys turned it around, and yeah, good result in the end. 5
in a row now. Your young side now is just starting to believe in itself.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's great to see guys improving and growing in confidence, and a lot of young guys out here today, and it's just I thought they all stood up and played their roles, which was great.
Well done. Thanks for joining us. Congratulations on the win.
Thanks very much.
Well, it was just a sensational player today. Nathan Van Berlo and Bernie Vince was brilliant, but I just think that Jason Portpleasure, the class, and there you can see Benny Rutten there talking to Barry Hall, and saying, I don't think there was much in that, son, but there might be something. He has been reported. There's no doubt we heard the umpires say that. So Barry Hall looks like he's hurt himself too in the last couple of minutes of that game. He's limping off the ground now, so not great for the Sydney Swans and the Barry Hall.
Where's he at, Shorty? Where is he at?
I don't think I would go on with Barry, after this year.
Yep.
I think he could probably play some more football, but I think you just got to go down the track of maybe a younger player. He's been a very good player, 250 games, but maybe just go down the track elsewhere, I would think.
Do you think it's unsettling for the players? I mean, it was at three-quarter time. Wasn't it a crucial stage of the game? Because Adelaide had already come back into the game.
No excuses for that to lose the game. It was just the Adelaide Crows were the one who won this game in the second half. Turned every statistical bit of data around that you could hope for.
But on the flip side of the coin, Barry comes out and kicks 4 goals, and he was a goal assist, so he would have been amongst 6 or 7 goals today.
Yeah. Oh, no, look, he's a good player.
That's the good side of it.
I'm looking to next year, not this year as such.
16-point win to the Adelaide Crows. Back to wrap up straight after this.
If you fight him, you will die.
Berlin, 6:30 Sunday on 10.
Here's a very special offer from Panasonic. Buy a selected full high-definition Viera plasma and you'll get a large cardboard box for the kids to play with. Oh, for a limited time, you'll also get a bonus Wii for Mum and Dad to enjoy. Until the kids find out about it. Good luck.
Gaswell Tool Centres, your destination stores for all your Stihl outdoor power equipment. We specialise in Stihl and major brands of power equipment. We've got the right Stihl product for you. Plus, we service or repair all your gear. Gaswell, 4 convenient locations: City, Lonsdale, St Mary's and Paraka.
Looking for a car? Maybe it's a zippy little number that's caught your eye. Perhaps you can see yourself in something bigger. Well, with car prices so low, it's a great time to buy, especially with a car loan from Savings and Loans. In fact, our rate is so low you won't believe your eyes. There's no need to look around. Just drop into a savings and loans branch or call 13 11 82.
Whatever happened to a proper sale? One where you get good stuff cheap.
It's at Home Hardware.
With an Exceed planer $29.75 or this Power King Tradesman lead $19.95.
A proper stock take sale.
At Home Timber and Hardware.
The proper hardware store.
Jimbo, Jimbo, off to work we go. Jimbo, Jimbo, off to work we go. Jimbo, Jimbo, off to work we go.
Jim's Mowing for all your gardening needs.
Get a classic quarter Tropicana or classic roast combo at Red Rooster right now. And you'll also get a serve of piping hot apple bites. Dinner's done and dessert's on us. But you gotta be quick and it's gotta be red.
At Mother Energy Drinks, we don't do things by half measures. So when Matt complained, I didn't see the reason for so much energy, we said, we'll see. Because Matt's a bit of a commitment phobe, we hired some actors, dressed them up as brides and let them loose.
Run, Ray, run!
Do you, Matt? Do you really?
A mother of an energy kick!
If you need the latest in compact and lightweight computers, you need the SA team at Radio Rentals. Upload our huge range of ultra-portable netbooks from all the big brands in computing, including Acer, Asus, Hewlett-Packard, Toshiba, and more. Download one of these great offers. Acer ultra-portable netbook with 8.9-inch LCD screen, although 555. Leader ultra-portable netbook with a huge 320GB hard drive, $939. So to get online, see the SA team at Radio Rentals. Saving SA since 1958. Terms and conditions apply. See in-store for details.
If you think this is big, wait till you see who's on Rove Sunday. PM himself, Kevin Rudd, MasterChef's Matt Preston, and the one and only Bruno. The Prime Minister, the food critiquer, and the fashionista. All live Sunday.
Throws it up long. Walker pushed out of that contest. Tip up with a big length. McLeod, he couldn't, could he? Don't tell me. Ridiculous. Poor Pleasure scoops it back. Airputs, inboard, kick a ball, kicks around, but I squeezed it in. Gibberheim would have been handy there. Oh, a goal will do. She's over. Van Berlo with the killer.
Stadium, and the Adelaide Crows have turned around a 19-point deficit at half-time to run out winners by 16 points. They were sensational. 6 goals in the third quarter where they really turned this game around. And as I said, 16 points to the Crows. I just thought that Jason Portpleasure was the out-and-out star today. Showed a lot of class, Jacko, and he was the one who turned the game, kicking 4 goals. Barry Hall 4, probably a lone hand in the forward line for the Sydney Swans. Bernie Vince was sensational. Van Berlo was great. Matner with 30 and Reece Shaw with 29 for the Sydney Swans. But I thought Portpleasure probably in one quarter, the third quarter, was the man who turned that game around. So a great win to the Crows after struggling at half-time.
It certainly was, and they were struggling at half-time, but they were struggling because Sydney were fantastic with their contested possession and keeping the ball off Adelaide. They just weren't allowed to get the footy, and the possession count at half-time was in favour of Sydney, and all the key indicators, Sydney was certainly dominating. But after half-time, something was obviously said, and I think the players took ownership. Nothing was really probably said bar the obvious, but the players took ownership and just started to win their fair share of the football, especially the clearances. Now, clearances can sometimes lie, but what you do with the second part of the kick, once you get the clearance, their forward 50 entries to Kurt Tippett were fantastic.
Well, I think the Victoria's coach would say that he calls this to turn around at half-time, but Neil Craig is down the rooms with Rowan Smith.
Thanks, Shorey. Well, Neil, a little bit of a slow start, but a good win in the end.
Yeah, it was a good response. I was really pleased with our response after half-time, Rowan. Sydney were outstanding in the first half. You know, and as outstanding as they were, I thought we were nearly as poor, and we were probably lucky to be in the game with the way we were going about our work.
I spoke to you just before the game, and you were talking about the pressure that you'd put on the opposition. They really put you under the pump in the first half.
Yeah, they did, and that's fine. I mean, we expect that from opposition, but we weren't able to put our share back on them. So it was just a one-man fight basically in that area of the game. So, as I said, I was really, really pleased. We've probably struggled as a club in the past, when we've started like that, to be able to respond at half-time, and it was like chalk and cheese from watching it.
Is that the maturity of such a young side?
I think it's more. Well, we're not a mature side. I mean, but it's more about the quality of person that you have. You know, you can talk about it as much as you like, Rowan, but in the end, it's about action. Who wants to actually lead the way? And you know, we had quite a few guys in the third quarter, and probably Nathan Van Berlo stood out.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about Nathan. He was outstanding in the middle.
Yeah, well, after the third quarter in particular, when we needed someone to lead the side, I mean, he had a lot of help as well, but he actually stood tall.
Another player that stood up for you, stood tall, basically was Kurt Tippett. I thought in the first half he struggled, but some of the contested marks that he took in the third quarter was great.
Yeah, and that'll be a good experience for him, you know, to maybe have a relatively poor first quarter or half a footy, but with his nature and his competitive attitude, he's always going to be capable of doing that.
5 in a row. Congratulations. Well done.
Thanks, Ron. Good. Thank you.
Well, the Victoria's coach there, Neil Craig, and I think he'd be happy because it was a real battle, and they might have needed that, the Adelaide Crows, mightn't they?
Yeah.
You know, I said before the game that the contest of the Sydney Swans give you, but that third quarter was the turning point. The one thing, they had a big upside up to half time because they were very ordinary.
They certainly were, and players like Dangerfield just started to get themselves into the game. We saw what Van Berlo, as a midfielder, not only raked up the possessions, but he kicked the goals too. He kicked 2 second-half goals, which certainly ignited the Adelaide Crows, but their tackling, their ability to just pounce on mistakes like that one. And this guy here, well, he is a class act in the competition as a small forward. Doesn't miss, kicked 4 again today.
How was that poise then, though? You know, when you run that far, take 2 bounces, you've got to really balance yourself up. Just as you said, a class act.
And that's the class act, that bloke there. But the big leap by the 2 big fellas there you saw, which was Stevens and Kurt Tippett. That's what you want in that third quarter. It was directed by a lot of those big guys, just keeping it simple, direction into the forward line. But then you get the little players underneath it to swoop on and kick goals. You got Paul Pleasure and McLeod. You always know when they get their ball, the footy in their hands, you know they're going to kick goals.
Well, Dwayne Russell said the good and the bad of Barry Hall. And look, he kicked 4 goals, so he was a target early in the first half. But then we just saw after the game, Benny Rutten went up there. He's been reported, we think, for striking Ben Rutten. And I think Benny Rutten said, gee, there wasn't a lot in that, mate. I don't know whether you can help them out these days because it's taken out of their hand now, Jacko, isn't it?
It is, and I can see on the expression of Barry Hall's face here, you know, I think he knows that the fates obviously comes
What do you think about Barry Hall, though? Where do you see him in his football career in the Sydney Swans?
It's been a fantastic asset to their club, but look, I think at the stage now, the players are getting tired of him because are they getting tired of him, or it's the same antics? And he has to address it. Has he been addressing it? He had a fantastic first half. He was so disciplined, kicked 4 goals, and he was nearly a match winner for him. But isolated incidents like that certainly can drag the side down, and you wouldn't think after 250 games there's going to be many more, especially if that behaviour continues.
Well, there was another game also taking place this afternoon down in Melbourne, and it was the Pies who got across the line, 169 to 85. We can see there Jack Anthony kicked 4, Travis Cloak come back for some form with 3. Dane Swanner, I think, has a chance for the Brownlow medal the way that he has voted over the last couple of years, and Didak with 39 possessions. So a good win to the Collingwood side, but I think Fremantle also had a few injuries to come out of this game.
Yeah, I think Pavlich tore a hamstring and Grover as well. So I think Collingwood also kicked away. I mean, the Dockers were right in that, so probably just ran out of personnel in the end.
Well, it was a great win here to the Adelaide Crows, 16-point winners, and Jason Paul Pleasure kicked 4 goals. Adelaide Crows, can they go all the way?
Oh, not at this early stage. They've only won 5 in a row, Shorey. Let's not get too ahead of, ourselves. But I think the 2 top teams will have a big say. But look, I think they're a side that's going to improve, and that 4th spot is theirs for the taking.
Well, we had a great clash here at Amy Stadium. It was the Adelaide Crows by 16 points in the end in a really good contest. The Adelaide Crows continue on their winning way.
The 2009 Toyota AFL Premiership season brought to you by the 200 kilowatt Toyota Orient V6. Powerade Isotonic. Perform at your peak for longer. Carlton Natural Blonde. Taste the future in your mouth. Harvey Norman. There's a store near you. NAB. Have it all with NAB Smart Everyday Banking. Ashley and Martin Medical Hair Centres. Call 1300 30 Hair. And Panasonic Viera Plasma. High definition action at its very best.
The Biggest Loser is coming back.
Once again, we are casting for couples for our biggest series yet.
So grab a friend or a family member and go to thebiggestloser.com.au
and take the first steps to reclaiming your lives.
Back up the inside. This is huge. Valentino takes it in a dramatic finish.
All three are tied at the top. It doesn't get any closer than this. Round 7 of the MotoGP, tomorrow night on 1.
Brittany's one of the hardest working competitors.
But she's hiding something big.
It's the last thing Gillian is expecting to hear.
Honey. Loser US, Sunday on 10.
Monia Gerard, Adelaide Thunderbirds. You can try it, but nothing gets past me.
Experience the ANZ Championship on 1, the hottest game in town.
I take netball pretty serious.
The 2009 Toyota AFL Premiership season, brought to you by the 200 kilowatt Toyota Orient V6. Powerade Isotonic. Perform at your peak for longer. Harvey Norman. There's a store near you. Bunnings Warehouse, where lowest prices are just the beginning. The Whopper, official burger of the AFL. Amy. Lucky you're with Amy. And Panasonic Viera Plasma. High definition action at its very best.
Against the odds. And it came with expectation, the promise of more to come. Upsides seemed boundless from some. The world was at the feet of others.
Oh, he's done it. He's done it.
These were going to be brown and golden days.
What a team on and off the field that turned out to be.
But it's been a blighted season so far. Some have been missing throughout. Others have fallen recently.
I think we always done his hamstring.
The stars haven't been shining quite so bright. With others on fire and a tough draw to come. The thoughts right now aren't of flying flags. Right now, it's all about staying alive. For if they slip up here, against a side on its knees, then no matter how vivid the memories, no matter how powerful the potential, the flag may have flown.
Yes, it's not negotiable for the Hawks tonight. They must gain some momentum, otherwise season 2009 will be gone. A plus tonight is the fact it regains a premiership defender in Rick Ladson, who plays his 100th game. But at the other end of the ground, the forwards really need to fire and be far more consistent. The Eagles, well, they're much tougher to beat at home than they are away, but tonight there's no Dean Cox for the first time in over 2 years. Their best player out with a groin injury. Nick Naitanui in just his second game will have to stand up in the ruck. As I say, hello and welcome to Subiaco Oval. It is round 13 It is the West Coast Eagles hosting Hawthorn, and when we look at the ladder, Luke Darcy, just shows you how important this game is for the reigning premiers.
Make or break time for Hawthorn Quarters. Sitting in ninth spot currently on the ladder. They really need a consistent run home over the next 10 rounds. They have to win this game tonight.
Rick Ladson's playing his 100th game, his first game for the year. No Stephen Gillam, he was due to play his second game, but he's a late withdrawal with a virus, apparently.
Really important part of this side, Ladson. They would love to have had Gillam back as well. They've severely missed in defence. He needs to get some games in a row and just build a month into some form, but they can't afford too many more hiccups. They need to get their best side on the park performing really well.
Now, what about up the other end? Roughhead, Franklin Williams, the three players, I think they need to show more consistency. They've been a bit hot and cold this year.
They have, but they've still got 89 goals out of the three players you mentioned. There's Mark Williams, who's kicked 16 of those. They haven't really dominated and torn games apart, but the delivery inside their forward 50 hasn't quite been what it was last year.
Tough month ahead for the reigning premiers. You've got the Bulldogs, the Kangaroos, Collingwood and Geelong.
Yeah, it is going to be a big challenge, and you know, I think with their better side on the park, Lewis starting to get some more game time, Xavier Ellis back into some form, they really need that machine to start firing because they've got some tough challenges ahead.
Let's have a look at the Hawthorn lineup. As I said, Gillam was a late withdrawal, so is Stuart Dew, and Stokes and Schoenmakers come into the team at the last minute.
Yeah, just starting to find some more consistency with, as I mentioned, Lewis is a really important player. He played exceptionally well last week, as did Ellis. Mitchell's been a consistent performer. Only had 5 players play every game this year, Hawthorn, which has been part of the difficulty of their season.
Remarkably, no Cox for the first time in over 2 years. He's been a marvel, hasn't he? Be fascinating to see what the Hawk Ruckmen do with Nat Nui.
Really looking forward to watching Nat Nui in his second game. His debut game was so exciting. 11 disposals, but just some glimpses of what an incredible player and athlete he's going to be. Hawthorn Ruckmen will be sitting there waiting and saying, OK, you had your first week. This is a pretty serious business AFL footy. We're going to make sure it's a hard night for you.
These teams met in round 5 in Tasmania, a cold Anzac Day at Aurora Stadium, and the Eagles pushed the Hawks to the limit. It was a physical match, plenty of push and shove early, and the Eagles looked like they may cause an upset. In the end, though, the Hawks got over the line thanks to Jared Roughhead, who booted 4 goals, and Gary Moss, who also kicked 4 that night, although Moss is not playing tonight.
Sam Mitchell was a star as well, had 40 possessions in that game, but the West Coast pushed them all the way. There's Dean Cox Quarters. Had to catch up with him at some stage. 4 years in a row as an All-Australian, taking such a heavy workload in the ruck. At some stage he was going to break down. Believe he might be out for a couple of weeks with a groin strain.
Yeah. And Nick Nat knew, surely the Hawthorn Ruck would have throw a few elbows and knees around tonight.
They have to. I mean, such an exciting young player. But Robbie Campbell is a very powerful and strong unit. Simon Taylor's got enjoys the physical aspect of the game, so they can't allow him to just jump over small buildings and dominate tonight. They'll make sure that it's physical. They'll make sure they jump into it at the centre square bounce, and he doesn't have it all on his own terms tonight.
Well, some home truths have been told during the split round at Hawthorn, instigated by their captain Sam Mitchell and their coach Alistair Clarkson, so I wonder if it will have any effect. And it's very blustery here tonight, Luke. In fact, there's a very, very strong breeze and some rain predicted later, and even Ozzy the Eagle had trouble.
It is a howling breeze here, and the Eagle, who is a feature of all West Coast home games, he got blown off his perch, so fluky breeze tonight.
Fascinating night ahead here in Western Australia as the Eagles take on the Hawks.
No weapon forged by man can kill a wraith. It will stop at nothing till it has accomplished what it came for.
If you fight him, you will die. No one is unbeatable.
This is no ordinary night. My death will stop the wraith.
Merlin, 6:30 Sunday on 10.
A little bird told me that you love me, and I believe that you do.
Hold on to your money with Amy Flexi Premiums. Our new car insurance customers in Adelaide saved an average of $207.
Lucky you're with Amy.
With the right tools and advice, you can do it for fun when you do it Stratco. Fire extinguisher with bonus torch, just $22.95. Stratco galvanised shelving, only $22.95. And flexible stormwater pipe, a low $29.95. Do it for fun, do it Stratco. Now.
Enjoy the fast-moving action of AFL in high definition with the latest technology from Panasonic. Let the experts at Harvey Norman demonstrate the outstanding picture quality of Panasonic full high-definition Viera Plasma and home theatre system. Complete your experience with the new Panasonic Blu-ray disc recorder, which allows you to record high-definition content to disc. Grab a deal from Harvey Norman for the ultimate in high-definition entertainment. Panasonic welcomes you to tonight's AFL game, broadcast in high definition. Like all fast-moving action, you'll see it at its very best on a high-definition Panasonic Viera Plasma.
Welcome back to Subiaco Oval. John Worsfold in the coach's box, and that's where he'll be for the next 2 years after this season, signing a new 2-year deal with the West Coast Eagles to coach the team till 2011. Reported contract worth $1.5 million for the next 2 years. It is a fluky breeze. Now, the word was we're going to get rain, but I can tell you at this stage there's nothing on the radar to suggest we are going to get wet. The breeze is certainly favouring the left of screen, the city end, but you can still score goals with the protection of the 3-tier stand at the other end of the ground. Currently 17, dropping down to about 13 degrees. Quinton Lynch will start in the ruck, Nat Nui on the bench. And I can tell you, boys, a lot of the West Coast Eagles fans here have never seen Nicholas Natanui play live. Very much slipped under the radar, playing under 18s and a bit of WAFL footy. They saw him on the telly last game, but they've actually never seen Nicholas Natanui live.
Thanks, Tim, and welcome, Tim Lane.
Thank you, Quarters. Good to be here. Hawthorn will have first use of that win that Tim described to us. The Hawks won here last year against West Coast. First time they'd beaten them at Subiaco in 14 years. They haven't beaten them in consecutive matches here since their dual premiership years of 88-9.
Jordan Lewis lining up on Daniel Kerr at the first centre bounce, and there is Nat Nui. Good decision to have Quentin Lynch do a bit of the hack work early in the first centre bounce.
A rare sight, though, isn't it? First bounce of the match. And the big number 20, Dean Cox, is not there. Lynch coming from side on against Campbell, getting a hand onto it. But it's a Sewell takeaway to Mitchell, who just scrubs it forward, and the Eagles have it covered. Rapunda attacking the ball and then making a bit of a mess of it. And umpire Ryan adjudges it's a high tackle on McGlynn, one of the shortest out there, and a little bit hard to get below the shoulder. Bateman to Lewis, getting a kick of his own and placing it wide for Williams, too wide.
Interesting from the start. We're normally used to John Worsfold coach sides being one-on-one all over the ground, but Rapunda found himself back, one out, and also Lynch pushing back to help out the defence.
Campbell got the knock. Mitchell didn't have it, and he'll get the free kick.
Play and stop, back to him. Never took possession.
So Mitchell.
Play on, Sam, play on.
Told to go. So just bangs it up long to a 2-on-2. Franklin getting back there. And it's a rush behind. Down to Tim Gossage.
Australia-wide betting punch, sportsbet.com.au. Hawthorn $1.45 into $1.33. The Eagles are $3.30. One punter had 50,000 on Hawthorn to win this game.
And you're fancying the Eagles a bit in the conditions?
Yeah, a little bit about the Eagles. Hawthorn aren't exactly flying.
Now the Hawks coming here off 2 defeats from their last 3. But the form a bit better than West Coast with 5 straight defeats. None of them real hammerings. High kick into the wind, not really the way to go as West Coast come out of the last line.
Hawks had the 18-man press on, and there's Luke Hodge, who has started at centre-half back. Tyson Stengline is going to tag him as defensive forward.
Bit of history for Stengline tonight as he becomes the 32nd in history to play 100 games at 2 clubs, having played 106 with the Crows. Rapunda, the ball following him early. Well, the Eagles are holding up. Hawthorn as Mitchell appeals for the free kick, doesn't get it. But yeah, Hawthorn with the ball in their attacking half for the first couple of minutes of the action, but not breaking the ice as yet. Lynch outboxing Campbell. Prittis been good in games against Hawthorn. Rosa in there in a tug of war. There'll have to be another ball up.
Been a lot of talk this year about Hawthorn's cluster breaking down and not being as effective. As they get more seasoned players back into the side, they'll be able to employ that to a lot more effect. And already tonight was just seeing them zone up a bit better.
And interesting to see also Campbell Brown, who's been forced to be played down back by the Hawks, Luke. A bit of a luxury, maybe spend a little bit of time up forward now with Ladson back and Gillen coming back probably next week.
Yeah, I think ideally if they can afford to keep him up forward, that would be their preferred choice, Campbell Brown.
Not much happening early in this game. That's good hands by Marston. Embley to Prittis. Embley breaks the tackle. It's high. Tough one to mark off. Throwing his body on the line was Rosa. Couldn't take the grab though. Now here's Ladson, game 100. First match for the year. Kicks towards Ellis. A little bit too much on the kick. Marston. Eagles have the numbers. They work it to the 50. Hodge with the fist between two Eagles. And Campbell gathers for the Hawks. Now Mitchell back to Hodge. He gives it to Chance Bateman. His kick smothered, and he gets it back. Now Bateman goes back into the corridor. Again misses the target. There's a couple of Eagles there got clean bowl. Brown had the handball on, but he kicked long towards Franklin and Glass. Franklin overran it. Glass can concede the behind here if they want the Eagles. They're under pressure. No, they don't. And it is holding the ball. They should have rushed the behind.
Yeah, absolutely. And the players are still confused with this rule. It was explained during the week, if you're under any sort of pressure, Tim, and I know...
Das, you're opening Pandora's box.
You're allowed to rush if you're under pressure. The players have just got to back themselves in and believe the umpires won't pay it, because they won't.
Rough head, swings it around the corner and kicks a goal. So the Hawks have the first of the night.
Smart Start.
Get in, get in. I know you're into me, you know you're into me.
Bluetooth and MP3 compatibility.
You know you're into me, I know you're into.
Vehicle stability and traction control. A lot goes into Corolla, the world's most popular small car.
Now, Das, a critic of the rule, would say the problem is that the players just aren't sure what they can and can't do.
We can only be explained it so many times, Tim. If they're under any sort of pressure in a contest on their defensive line, they're able to use the goal line as a sanctuary and rush to the behind, and it won't be played against them.
So free kick going to the Eagles, and Lynch bangs it long against the breeze. Beautiful kick. And the mark's taken by Stengline. Well, that was pretty easy.
Well, this is interesting. Tyson Stengline is going to play the defensive forward role as we look at the ruck contest, and Campbell.
The ruckmen never know, do they, which way it's going to go?
Not sure how they came up with a free kick there, but nevertheless, here's Stengline, who's got the job on Hodge, and that's what he needs to be able to do, get in front. If he can score goals, it puts doubt in Hodge's mind.
So we'll test him against the breeze. It's been taken away at the last minute, and a rush behind.
Stengline, the third player to have worn West Coast colours to achieve that double 100-game achievement. 100 games at two clubs. Daniel Chick did it, and also Fraser Gehrig. Chick, of course, also playing 100 with Hawthorn. That kick is out on the full, I reckon. So a defensive error, and West Coast can have another go. Hearn's a big kick, but not big enough to trouble the scorer from there, although he sees an opening. And he delivers well, and Lacroix, who's been their best chance up forward all year, can have a go, although it's a difficult spot in this swirling wind.
Good poise here from Hearn. He played on, and the easy option would have been to blaze away, but he had enough poise as Nat Nui comes on, and the crowd love it.
Talk about an overnight sensation. He's played one game, and he's cheered onto the ground for his second. Now, Lacroix, this would be a very useful goal into the wind. Started right and never looked like coming back. So the Eagles with a couple of minors, Hawthorn with the only goal so far, and this is something to look forward to. This spectacular youngster who made such an impression on debut against Richmond a couple of weekends ago at Etihad Stadium.
And those locks flowing in the breeze.
Move it on now, Brent. Play on.
Guerra looks for Lewis. Well done by Kerr, but Hawthorn win the ball. Mitchell under pressure. Handball smothered by Prentice. Nat Nui's in there. Mitchell has another crack. That's good defensive pressure from the West Coast Eagles. Tim Gossage, what's the breeze worth, if anything?
Probably 2 goals only, quarters. It really is creating havoc for both teams. It is strong 1 minute, it goes across the ground the next. It is a little bit chaotic, if there is such a thing.
Nat Nui, that's a sensational tap. Now LeCras from right on 50. That is a great goal, all set up by Nat Nui.
Here it is. Nick Natanui just got over the top of Campbell. And beautiful understanding. Worked it well to the boundary line. LeCras did the rest.
Free kick to Hawthorn, pushed him in the square. Free kick to Hawthorn,
the balloon it now.
Pushed him in the square. You can't
So the kick goes forward of the centre to Williams, where the infringement took place. Rough head. McGlynn shrugging Natanui and spraying it. Out on the full. Eagles ball. And now, bottom of the screen, you'll see Spanger shoving Williams into the square, hence the free kick.
And Rosa takes the mark for West Coast.
Hold it there. Play on.
Averaging 21 disposals a match this season. Weirpunda goes up the middle. That's not the best of kicks. Lewis couldn't take the mark. Birchall attacks it, loses it. Now the Eagles have possession. Mark taken by Kerr. He's got Weirpunda running for him. Oh, and the handball missed the target. As Kerr comes off for a break.
There's been an interchange violation.
Oh, there has been two.
Were you onto it as it happened, Goss?
I think it was Tom
50
Smith.
metres. It's an interchange infringement.
Give him the thumbs up.
Yeah, two
Ball to
Hawthorn
Sam Mitchell.
and 50 metres.
Ball to say it's an interchange infringement. Now bring it down 50 metres.
Ooh, gee, what a price, Luke.
Yeah, it's a very harsh penalty. But there's a yellow line there. The players
Sam, you'll have to come
been told for over a season now, and
Nick,
big price to pay. Low scoring at first quarter. Mitchell, certain goal.
So Mitchell gets the free kick and the 50-metre penalty, and from 15 metres out, kicks the goal.
All clear.
NAB iSaver gives you a whole lot more than just a bonus rate, like unlimited withdrawals without sacrificing your bonus interest. Plus, you get instant access to your savings through a linked NAB Smart Everyday account. And you get a great rate, plus bonus interest for 4 months to really get you saving. Why choose? Have it all with NAB iSaver. It's what your money would do. Visit nab.com.au/iSaver to find out more.
Let's see what we can make of this. Now, how long was the time lag, Tim, between when the breach occurred and when the notification came? Have you got any idea?
Just trying to work it out, Tim. It's a bit of confusion down there, to be honest. Still trying to work on it.
So long as they get them right.
I saw the whistle and the hand go up. No idea why.
Sorry, Tim. Simon Taylor just come on, and he has gone straight, laid his hit into Natanui, and look at the West Coast boys come for support. Great stuff.
And great umpiring too.
And a good response from Natanui too, who climbed in and got the tap. So, some feeling and spirit in this game early. Rapunda having a picnic in the back half, gives to McKenzie. 2-1, Hawthorn lead, but you'd fancy the City end will be the scoring end. Rapunda again, chalking up the stats. That's number 6. Awkward one as it held up in the wind. Ladson, first feel of the leather of the season in a competitive situation. Lewis clever, but a good block by Spanger on Franklin. Let in Marston. Well done, Franklin. Good second effort. Prittis to Rapunda, yet another one, and that's a beautifully weighted kick for Lynch.
Hawthorn's 2 goals coming from the 2 new rules, the interchange breach and the rush behind.
Andrew Embley was the player coming off, Tom Swift the player on. That was the mistake by the Eagles.
Free kick West Coast. A lot of whistle blowing going on early in this game.
Stay out.
And the free kick's going to the West Coast Eagles, to be taken by Kennedy.
Move it on. Play on.
Not a lot to kick to. So Kennedy forced to go short. That's okay. Mark's taken by McKinley.
Simon Taylor's dropped right back into the goal line here. Nat Nui needs to either get down there or get dangerous.
Roughhead's picked him up. He's come down the ground as McKinley bangs it long.
Now it comes, Nui.
From the side, goes for the big hanger. But Roughhead had that one covered. And Mark's on the last line of defence.
Good defensive mark. Goal kicking forward, gives to Birchall. A big night for the Hawks. As we pointed out, a very tough draw to come. They're really going to have to get it together over the last 2.5 months if they're going to be playing in the finals, let alone winning premierships. Schoenmakers, late inclusion to Mitchell. Now Osborne. The Hawks, a team that holds the ball more and controls possession. The Eagles, good contested possession team. Hawthorn getting themselves into bother and a ball up.
Not much flow in the game, is there, Luke?
No, there's not. I think the Brews playing a fair part in this. Here's Simon Taylor. That was the second he came onto the ground. Just gave a little elbow to Nat Nui, and about...
I thought he'd be the man, Luke.
Yeah, he was, and about 8 West Coast Eagles responded, which is good stuff.
Can be extremely unsociable, Simon Taylor, as we've seen. Hawks run it out of defence. Muston. 2 minds. Now decides to kick, and it's a horrible kick too. It's a really poor effort. Spanger to Rapunda. Oh, with great skill, gets out of danger, but third time unlucky, and we'll have a throw in.
Well, no doubt the confidence in kicking the footy with the conditions is limited. Breeze is playing a massive factor, and both sides not really able to hit the target as well as they would like.
Nat Nui against Campbell. Here's Ellis. He runs into Kerr. He's threw it away. Got to be a free kick, West Coast.
It is the #1 ranked kicking side for effectiveness in the competition, Hawthorn, and West Coast are ranked 16th, so it should favour the Hawks.
Prittis gives it off to Ebert. And that's a good kick out wide. And it finds Spanger. He drills it in the direction of Lecras. So Hodges is happy to knock that one over the line. So stop-start encounter so far. Not much flow in the match. Spanger has a break. It's Hawthorn. 2 goals from free kicks, leading the Eagles 1 goal.
West Coast very much on terms, in the hunt at the moment. Ladson, Sewell, Bateman. But the Hawks not bringing it out yet. Birchall and Sewell again. He had to get the weight right there, but he did do it well. McGlynn goes along this time to a contest. Embley having Campbell Brown pretty well covered. But a throw-in is probably a good result for the Hawks, just outside their 50. Spectacular sight as the youngster, second pick in the national draft, got Campbell for company here, and a clear win to Campbell. Down to Mitchell with the left. Missing on the near side, so it's the Hawks by 6 points.
And that was beautiful ruck work from Campbell.
Setting up the right spot, though, Natanui. He doesn't want to get into a wrestling match with either of the bigger Hawthorn ruckmen, so he's starting behind. He's going to try and use his athleticism and jump over the top of the contest.
McKenzie has the ball in the back pocket. He kicks down the line, setting himself as Birchall. Lynch from the side, not quite. Smashed forward by the Eagles. Butler, it came off the back of his foot, beyond the full. No, boundary umpire says he'll throw it in. This is beautiful tap from Robert Campbell coming up to Mitchell. Classic ruck work. Embley fed it out to Selwood. Rosa, ambitious kick, Campbell. Back to Rosa. Embley to Marston. Mitchell comes in. Caught when he didn't have it. Free kick going to Sam Mitchell. He's been prominent early. This is his 7th disposal. Off to Lewis. Now Ellis. He kicks in the Franklin direction. Oh, and he dropped the mark. He should have swallowed. Franklin not having a good start to this match. As Embley clears to Kerr. He chips over the top, and the Eagles out of trouble here through Butler to Selwood. Over the top to his brother. And away go the West Coast, and they've got a loose man up forward. Here's Brown. A long ball into the goal square, and it's a mark to the crowd.
Fantastic build-up from the West Coast Eagles. It was Scott Selwood, in the middle of the ground, that just took his Hawthorn opponent on. He stepped back inside, and a one-on-one contest. The kick was weighted beautifully. Here's Selwood. That was great play. Took them on, went back into the corridor, and Brown was waiting, and his kick was weighted beautifully.
So LeCras, his second from point blank. Having a good season, kicked 31 goals so far in his 12 matches.
What makes the perfect grab? Timing? Focus? Or just taking it with both hands? The Whopper, official burger of the AFL.
Every consultant at Ashton & Martin has successfully completed our medical treatment program.